her job is she just waddles in here when it's ready to record, and then I have to take care of everything else.
I actually saw the entire setup, and you were more destructive than she was. You know what?
That's true.
No.
Mine was good.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did a great job.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're back. Another episode. I wanted to do a better job at an intro because I feel bad. Sorry to Brittany and Caro. I did not introduce them very well.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there was literally a whole period where I was like, this is our guest, blah, 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 blah.
I don't remember that, but
because you aren't good.
also we need to plug our socials for some clout.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Follow us on
It's like he wants permission.
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The same handle as everything else, I believe. 2-Pack Taper at 2-Pack Taper. But today we have a guest, another guest. She is an expert at Canva.
That is true.
She's a dog mom,
Dog mom.
a big Michigan fan, and I think also a klepto. If I'm not
And
mistaken.
her brother's name is not Stefan
It's
or
Stefan.
Stefan. It's Stefan.
No.
Butchered. Stefan.
Welcome, Erin
Stefan.
Kuester.
Stefan.
Hello, Erin Kuester.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. This
Of course.
Is so fun.
Did they have to underline which part of the name? How is it spelled? Stefan. So I would pronounce it Stefan.
Stefan.
There you
Sorry.
go. Get to your
I'm
mic.
already so not good
Yep.
at this.
Stefan.
She's
already
See,
a rookie.
but I would say like Stefan. Stefan. Like, oh, that's Stefan or
Most
Stefan.
people do. Yeah, most people get it wrong. And he has gotten very patient with it. However, his wife is like complete stickler of this is how you pronounce his name.
Oh.
She will correct you on your first go.
Stefan.
Yeah, but Stefan.
My brother Stefan.
Erin just got back from the Michigan-Ohio State game. How were the vibes there?
So good. So good. It was a lot of fun. We hung out with my brother and his friend at the golf course for a little bit. So that was fun. We got there at like 6:30 a.m. It was cold as shit.
Is the golf course like a legit golf course?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
You
They tailgate on the golf course?
Yep, you just
Oh.
can't park on
Okay.
like the greens or the putting greens.
Right.
Do you tailgate on the putting greens?
No, not on the putting greens
I don't
because
know.
you
No, just
tailgate on the golf
destroy them.
course, but you tailgate in the fairway. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I think.
cool.
Don't quote me on that.
That's
I was
not-
literally there and I can't answer this question. But you tailgate right on the golf course. It's super fun. It's where most people tailgate. I've done there and then Pioneer High School. But it was really fun. And obviously, like, having beaten Ohio State in the past 2 years.
Did
and
you
then-
guys... Is that where students tailgate too?
No.
Oh.
Well, students are more so probably going to be like at frat
The
houses.
stadium.
And,
Oh, okay.
and then
okay.
other places wherever students reside.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you saw some ratchetness down
We
there.
did,
Oh,
though.
you did?
Like, we walked past some frat houses, and it really just gave me the chills of, like, the amount of drunk that you are right now, like, makes me, like, want to
PTSD.
vom a
Were
little.
you
Yeah.
drunk?
No. I get, like, I ride a little bit of a buzz, and then I come back down. But I only had one beer until we got to Garage Bar to watch the game, because we didn't actually go to the game. And then had a couple tequila lemonades and just hung out with some
Tequila
friends.
lemonade? That's a
Yeah.
thing?
That's a combo.
Oh, it's so good.
I've never had that.
It's so good. Highly recommend. I mean, not
I've
to
heard
you,
it, like-
but highly recommend.
Does the lemonade like
Not
kind of
you.
kill the burn a little bit?
I just like lemonade,
Oh.
honestly. So
It is
like,
so good.
but I also love me some tequila. So
Okay.
Tequila
I don't
orange
need
juice.
the burn to be killed.
I would pick orange juice.
Is that like a
That's
name?
fair.
Is there a name for that?
Yeah, tequila sunrise.
Oh.
We need a little grenadine in that, I think, or something.
Okay.
Cranberry? I'm not a bartender. I was.
Do you guys have any ratchet tailgate stories? Have you guys ever been in a fight?
No, I worked in the athletics department when I was in
Oh.
college, so I never got to tailgate.
Really?
And
That
you
is
were on
true.
the cheer team.
Yeah, I was on
so-
the cheer team. I did go back to a Western game to tailgate, like
So
after
fun.
I had left Western.
Western Michigan.
And I swear I kissed like a billion people. Like, I don't. Whoa. I did.
It's like all coming back now.
It's coming back
Fading.
because I
Men,
realized.
women,
Yeah, but
dads, moms.
I don't know about that, but I
grandpas.
do realize I owe my ex-boyfriend a big apology because
Sorry.
he admitted, or not admitted, he kind of accused me. This was like way back when. He was like, "Yeah, I heard that like we were kind of like talking when I went to that tailgate, but he like accused me of like, yeah, I heard that you were like obviously not very interested in me because you were like doing your own thing at the tailgate." And I was like, I would never. But I like just had like a flashback, and I was doing my own thing. I was.
That's okay.
It was an. Oh wait.
I went to a couple of Michigan tailgates when I was in college and high school. And those were
High school?
Yeah. My cousin, who I'm really close with, went to Michigan. Her freshman year was my her freshman year was like my freshman year in high school. So I went to a couple tailgates when I was in high school, and then I went when I was in college, and those were definitely much more of an experience than being at Grand Valley.
At Western, at Western
sure.
in like the student area where it's like really turnt. You know what I'm talking about, Mac? Like where all the kids park their
Who
cars.
says turnt?
Turned up.
That's what, I'm sorry, we have to stop you there.
No.
You're aging
Turnt.
yourself.
Yeah. He's above the age
kids
of
are-
34.
Where the kids are YOLOing.
YOLOing?
YOLO? Isn't that a thing back in the day?
You never live oncing?
No.
they were yellowing.
You only live once. You said
Yeah.
you never live wanting?
You only, well, she
I don't know
put
what
an
I
ing
said.
on it.
Ing. I thought I.
You
Yeah.
only live once.
You only
is
live
what
once.
she
Yeah,
said.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah.
only live one thing. I thought I said it right. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
But at the Western tailgates, there's
Yeah, that's where I was
limited porta
making out
potties.
people.
Limited. So you could go.
That's a rough
you can
go.
go to this field, but it's down a hill to go pee. And when
I
you
remember
come
those.
up, it's a nightmare. Everybody's naked.
Naked?
Well, because if you go too far down.
I didn't experience the same thing you experienced.
Well, half naked because they're peeing. So, like, if you go to the hill,
I'm
people
sorry.
like pick a tree to pee, and then if you go too far down the hill, you have to come back up. Everyone has their body parts out.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
but can I just, as
It's
a man,
so
you're
funny.
taught when you're young not to whip your whole butt out, so they're not half naked. They're just
when they're
wieners
drunk,
everywhere.
you just
Yeah,
never know.
that's fair.
When you're pooping, your butt's out.
Someone just pooping
Oh
outside.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Ew.
I had to pee so
No,
bad.
everybody isn't. It's men.
It's
You
just-
need to be
yeah.
honest. It's men.
I'm a full-blown nature peer, honestly. Like, I own it. And if I
Nature
have
peer.
to go, I have to go, and I will go outside. But, like,
Same.
I looked at Erin. We were walking back from Garage Bar, back to the car, and I looked at him, and I was like, I have to pee so badly. Like, we need to find a porta potty, or we're going to have an
In the
emergency.
streets.
And, like, I need to be prioritized right now. Like, I don't care about what else is happening. I have to go to the bathroom.
I need to be
But
prioritized.
like, this is about me. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're at an 8. And we find a porta potty. I went to the bathroom, and I come out, and he's just nowhere to be seen. And I walk out, and I'm like, shit, where did he go? And I knew all of his friends were behind him, and I saw them all walk into the parking lot. So I'm like, sweet, okay, they'll be waiting. I walk out, and I'm scanning the entire parking lot, and they're nowhere to be found. And I finally walk to the top of this hill to get a better vantage point, and they're like all walking into the golf course just away. They're just like straight up
Left
ditched me.
you?
I ran and saw Erin. I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, I thought you were those ones, like straight ahead.
no.
And I was like, you literally watched me point. And I was like, this
Oh,
is why I'm
no.
driving home.
In
But
his defense, one time, well, like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we were on a run, and I was rollerblading. You two were on a run, and I was filming. And
In his, no, I'm sorry. In his defense.
yeah, I'm just gonna defend him
But
real
how?
quick.
This isn't defending him. You just want to tell the story.
Well, because
Let's be honest
we're
here.
going down a big hill, and I get all the way down it on rollerblades because it's way faster than running, obviously. And when I get to the bottom, I turn around and only Mac is there, and I'm very confused. And she's like, "I lost Erin." I'm like, "What do you mean you lost Erin? You're running with Erin."
I lost her. It's a big hill.
Yeah. Okay.
a big straight hill.
I'm like,
Not a lot of
where?
places to hide.
Which way did she run away
Yeah.
from you?
Ran real fast.
Erin, being Erin, I guess now
Nature
you're a
user.
nature user.
Yeah. Are you really
Nature
going to out
user.
me like this?
Yeah, that was kind of messed up, Paul.
Yeah,
I didn't say what she did.
I feel like, I think it's obvious. However, it was funny because when it first happened, we were all like, we're not going to talk about this. Like, this is kind of, our new secret. But however, I think everybody knows about it, which is okay. Because we were with Tess, and they were like, I heard about that. It's like, awesome. I'm so glad that this is now public knowledge.
Erin went and pooped behind like
Okay, you
major.
could have said use the restroom
No,
or
it's
something.
okay because that is what I did.
Ladylike. That's what
We
I
were
did.
running, and I just all of a sudden was like, fuck. I looked
Yeah.
at Mac. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, like literally right now in this immediate moment.
That happens.
And we're in the middle of downtown Grand Rapids, and sometimes you have to make a game time decision. And respectfully, I think I just work really well under pressure.
Yeah.
So I found myself
did.
a spot.
Yeah, you said you stuck it to the man, and we're like right in
yeah.
front of this government building.
Yeah, I know.
You guys.
It was like there was caution tape in front of those stairs like a week ago or something, and I was like, was that because of me? Because
They saw your poop there.
they were like, oh my god. But yeah, I officially have my running
no.
poop story. However, it was only 6 miles, which is like
Yeah.
makes it kind of not okay. But that was a really long 6 miles for us that day.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that was a rough go.
And I have to poop on mile 3. Like, you're not going to go another 3 miles and like trying to like not have the Hershey squirts.
Okay.
Anyways.
Dead.
Oh, this is good. I love this for me.
We drove past that building like the other day. I'm like, where did she go? Because there's nowhere to go.
No, not now because they trimmed the bushes. But there were in fact bushes.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I think I have a little PTSD every time I drive past that building. I was like, oh God.
I can't blame you.
Yeah.
And but that was not good. You were like afraid to run after that too.
Yeah, I
honestly.
did have a moment. We tried to run the next day and I was like, respectfully, I cannot. I need to make sure. Because honestly, in front of you guys, I mean, we're all friends here.
Yeah.
It is what it is. In a group run setting, that's not something I want to experience respectfully. So I just was like, I'm going to walk this one. I'm going to come and I'm going to socialize, but I am going to walk. And I did pack toilet paper just in case for my walk.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm forever now paranoid. I will probably not go on a run without toilet paper at this point. But
Love it.
yeah, especially now that we're going to be doing some longer runs. I'm just not sure how my body's going to react to that. But
well, I usually try for like longer runs. A lot of them like my last training cycle, I'd make sure they like went near Millennium.
Yeah.
Because they have those bathrooms.
Yeah.
And there was a few instances where Millennium was saving my life.
Yeah.
Millennium
And I had to be
Park.
with boys too. And I was like,
like, excuse me, I have to go.
I was like, I have to use
powder
the
my nose.
restroom. Yeah, I was like, I have to pee really bad. It's like, no, I pee did not take 12
Well, that's how at
minutes.
first I looked at you. I'm like, Mac, I have to pee. And then I was like, there is no shielding this. Like, I have to poop. I was going to try and just like cover it up. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. But I was like, if anything, like, if this is going to happen, I'm really glad it's with you two. But also, I need to be fully transparent here. Like, this is a moment.
One time this is back when I like wasn't a runner, right? Like, no, I was not a runner, but I was like, you know what? Today I'm going to try to do a run. And it was like a 2-mile run. But like back then it was like, this was the biggest day of my life.
Yeah.
And I had taken, they used to have this weird tea. And I unhealthily used to take it or like drink it. And it had like some sort of natural laxative in it.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like called skinny tea or
Oh,
some
no.
stupid
I
fucking
remember
thing,
that.
right? It was like Chinese. I don't even sell it anymore. So I had taken that the night before and I woke up to go on my run and it was so bad on like the side of a busy street. I just pulled my pants down, pooped, and I wiped with my scrunchie. And I like was so ashamed of myself the rest of the day. I literally stayed inside.
What's
I
really
canceled all my
funny
plans.
about that being like a more beginner run of like when you just started, it's so shameful. But like being in the running game for a long time, it's like it happens.
Yeah.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
like, I think at first I felt like a tinge of embarrassment, but then I'm like,
No.
I think everyone around me or that I have run with has had a story like this. And there's literally no part of me at this point. It's just so laughable. I called Erin after on my way home and I was like, oh my God. Like I have to tell you this story. But I tell everyone because it's so hilarious. But it's just so funny. Like in that first 2-mile run, you're like, this is a big deal. I'm going for a run. And having that happen is like so mortifying. But now it's like, oh shit, it's just like a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Dude, no, it's so funny because before you become like a quote unquote runner, like pooping is really taboo. Like when I first met Paul, I had to poop so bad, but I didn't want to fart or poop in front of him, like so bad.
I feel like I know this story.
I
And-
think we talked about. Did we talk about this?
We
once?
talked about
We talked.
this.
I don't know if
Okay.
I had talked about it on the podcast, but like,
Okay.
so I had to poop so bad, and it was like an emergency. My stomach was like growling, and I knew that if I even tried to pee, I was going to fart and poop so bad. Like it was hurting.
And we were in a smaller apartment at her place.
Yeah, I was in my apartment with him.
1 bedroom. So like from the living room, if you were
It was like backed up to the bathroom.
if you were farting in
Yeah,
there, I would have
no,
heard it.
exactly.
for
And I
sure.
hadn't farted in front. At this point, it's like with Paul, like I kind of just like, you know, it is what it is. My farts are funny. Like I think I'm funny when I fart.
Same.
But like
I'm a 5-year-old and I'm not afraid
I'm
to
like,
admit
these are the
it.
funniest things. I love it. I just think it's hilarious. His farts not as funny. My farts, oh my god.
Oh, no,
Stand-up
men farting is
comedian.
offensive. Like,
Yeah.
why would you possibly do that? However, when we do it, it's
so
hilarious.
funny. I can't even contain myself. But didn't want to obviously back then because I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new relationship. So I was like, I really want some ice cream. He's like, oh, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Like, you're not getting ice cream. I was like, no, I'm going to go. He's like, okay, I'll go with you. I was like, no. Like, I'm going to go get ice cream.
Yeah.
And instead of going to get ice cream, I went to our other friend's house who lived like 3 blocks over. And I texted him. I was like, it's an emergency. I'm outside your door. And he was like high and in bed. And he let me in. He's like, what? And I was like, I have to use your bathroom. And I like beelined it and just literally blew up his bathroom. He's high and he's just listening to me screaming in the bathroom and like farting. And then after it was done, I was like, all right. And I left and I came back and Paul was like, so where's the ice cream? I was like, didn't have the flavor I wanted.
Really? I can't remember, but
God, we have to put a trigger warning on this episode of like, in
God.
case you
Lot
were
of
offended
poop.
by bathroom humor.
fecal.
Yeah.
How can you not be?
I honestly am such a 5-year-old. I think it's hilarious. I am not afraid to admit it. But when I get home and I tell Erin, like, this is what we talked about, at least for a good portion of the beginning, he's gonna be like, I would expect nothing less.
Yeah,
That
not
makes
surprised.
absolute sense.
So wait,
This is
Erin,
so funny.
when did we meet you? I can't remember.
Track day.
Oh,
I
it
don't
was
remember if
one-
I met you on track day, but
You
I met
were
Mac on track.
irrelevant.
Was she at the first track day, the very first
No.
one? Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I came in August
The second or third one?
or July.
It was that late.
No, it was July.
It had to have
was
been July.
The second
think
track
so,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, it was July. I think it was July. Regardless, it was. I have been running for a decent amount of time, but I run almost primarily solo, which is fine. I am a person who loves solitude, but I was kind of losing the joy in it. It felt more like a chore. So that week, I was like, I'm going to go to a couple of the run clubs that I know that exist. And Mac, I think you had followed me on Instagram or Strava or something.
That adds up.
Yeah. So, and
really
I
does.
was like, oh, that's so cool. And so that's how I saw your track day. And I went to Lion Street on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I bucked up. I have like social anxiety going to giant group things by myself, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm an adult human being. I can manage this. So I go, and then at one point on one of the laps, we were next to each other, and so I just said, hey, and we just chatted for a little bit, and then I went to ice cream with you guys after, and then there was a massive tornado, so I got
is
stuck
that-
on the road and cried in my car, and then I
Why
went
did
home.
I think we were already friends?
Oh, that was the first
Maybe
time.
in my head
Maybe
I just
because
assumed we were
we're
friends.
connected by heart.
You guys did hit it off.
Probably were.
You two did hit it off pretty quickly. Why do
Yeah.
why do we think that is?
I don't know.
Paul just wants us to talk about divorce.
We're trauma bonded.
You don't trauma bonded.
Trauma bonded.
You
Well,
both.
I think I knew I liked you. You're just a very open and friendly person.
Yeah.
Caro spoke to it really, really well when she was on here. You're just very welcoming people of you want to be friends with everybody, which is, I think, the best thing. Like, you're just very, I don't know. I don't know about you. You're more introverted. So you just kind of like go with the flow. But I feel like with you, you just really want to be friends with everybody. And so you do a really good job of being a very welcoming. You ask a lot of questions. You want to get to know people. And so I really like that about you. And then we went on that run. It was like a run GR long run or something. And that's, I think, when
yeah.
we really clicked.
I do remember
so
that.
we like talked a little bit
Because that was like
before
8
that.
miles, and we were like, and I didn't know that you were married prior to
Right.
your current relationship. And then when you said that, I was like, oh, another one of them.
You guys need to start like a club or
with
Yeah.
t-shirts.
We should.
Right.
Well, I think it's different too because there's like, obviously, like there's I guess there probably is millions of people who are like divorced, but I think it's different to meet someone who was divorced in their 20s or
Yeah.
like their really early 30s because it's such a different experience
Yeah, for
than
sure.
like being divorced at like 40 or like something like that where you already have kids and like, I mean, that's just as messy, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a different experience. Like, I don't know many people who have been divorced at like our age.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because it's like it feels like such a short period of time to be married, so something significant really has to happen, or
Yeah.
just life shifts. I mean, you're so young and then you grow up and you're growing up together, but it's so easy to grow apart because it's so many foundational years are built into that marriage. So I think it's really rare to meet people who are divorced at a young age. And I mean, it's a weird thing to go through, but it's also nice to have someone, to talk to about it. Of
Yeah.
like, I have this weird experience or I'm having these weird feelings. And then you typically know exactly what I'm talking about. But it is weird. So we immediately kind of bonded over that. Cause
Yeah.
I like dropped a little something. I think I said something about, I don't even remember what it was, but I dropped a little
I don't
something and you
know.
looked at me like wide eyes, like, oh my
I
God,
know.
were you married?
And I didn't know if you had known that I was already married, but I was like, fine.
So I did actually.
Aliens.
So I
Oh,
did because
did you?
someone else had actually dropped a little bit of a hint.
Oh,
Someone that I
yeah.
knew previously, kind of more when I was younger, also goes to Run Club.
Oh,
and
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so we were talking and they were like, yeah, you should talk to Mac. I think you guys would really hit it off. You have really similar experience. And they were like, not my story to tell, but I do really think that you guys would get along really well. You'd at least have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And so naturally, that would be my guess, is that you either were in a long-term relationship that ended or were divorced. And so that's why I kind of dropped that little baby hint when we were running. I was like, I'm going to just like kind of toss this one out there and see how you respond. Because I wasn't totally sure if you were divorced or not. But so I kind of had a little bit of an inkling.
I love throwing it out there. Like, like I love telling people that I know of him or know him as a person. I'm like, oh, you know this person? Yeah, I was married to him once. And they're like, and I'm like, I just think it's so funny.
It's so funny because people don't know how to react to it.
No.
Like, people don't know my ex probably in the same way that they know yours. I'm very open about it, though, at this point. Like, I wasn't. I was a little bit ashamed of it. It felt like a weird failure.
Yeah.
But given time, I'm very open about it, and I kind of use it as like dark humor in a bad way, which is, I think, funny. Not everyone takes it that way, but it's hilarious.
You have to laugh at it.
I know,
like, in a way.
But you do, because it's life experience, and honestly, like, I think it's healing and it's healthy. But it's also so funny is like I'm changing my last name back to my maiden name.
Right.
And so many people are like, oh my gosh, did you get married? And I'm like, no, divorced, but thank you so much. And everyone's like, oh God, I had like a 50-50 shot and really fucked that one up. And I'm like, no, actually, it's funny and it's humorous. And I'm really excited to officially change it at work and have everyone be like, what the hell?
Yeah. Are there people in your life that still, like, you haven't told them or they may not know that you are divorced and think that you're still married?
What?
Well, because I have, my boss still thinks I'm married.
No.
Jeez.
So
Just
actually,
casually.
what's interesting is, no, I don't think so. Most people know, especially, I mean, for me, it's been, God, like we split in January of 22 was our official split, divorced in May of 22. So it's been some time, but I got a new job in April of 22. So none of those people ever knew I was divorced, ever.
Okay.
So they thought Vanderklok was my maiden name, my original name, or whatever. And since it was so fresh, I never really told those people. So there's a lot of people who don't know I'm divorced that have known me for a long time.
And they're going to wonder why you changed your name. It's going to be the same. Okay.
So a lot of people at work will be highly confused, which is okay because, it's, again, kind of humorous, but it's also, at this point, a piece of who I am, and I'm not really ashamed of it anymore. So we'll just kind of go through those motions. But I don't think there's anyone that doesn't know that I'm divorced and thinks I'm still married. I think I've been very, very clear that that's not the case. But there's a lot of people who don't know I was ever married.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. How long were you married?
Almost 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, quite a long
I think.
time.
Yeah, I think almost 4.5-ish, maybe. Almost 5.
Dang.
Yeah.
So did your family, because I know Max was kind of split, did your family handle it well? Like your immediate family?
Yes. At the end of the day, we're very close.
Well, not just immediate family, because you said my family
True.
was split. Like, how did your entire family?
Right.
I don't know if you come from a big family. Like, I don't know your background on that.
Like, was he good friends with cousins, other family members?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a really good guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Very
No bad words.
Right.
Gonna be
Absolutely
said
not.
here. Right,
and
right.
he's a nice guy. My family loved him. But fun fact, they love me more. Oh. So when everything was happening, I was pretty introverted about it. I kept pretty reserved about talking about it because it's just I was dealing with a lot of emotion. My dad was, I was living partially at my dad's when everything was happening, so he knew pretty in depth what was going on. And at the end of the day, he's like, I just want you to be happy. So if this is, if this is the route that you guys are going, I care for him, but I also love you so much that I just want you to be happy and be okay. And that was pretty much the response from everybody. So I didn't talk to my extended family. So my mom's one of 9 siblings.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it was a big extended family.
Big
pretty much.
extended family. I mean, they were almost all at my wedding, so they all knew I was married. But I think it just kind of came in waves of people finding out. The people closer to me found out sooner and, reached out. But they also gave me space to process, which I really appreciated because that obviously is a lot of processing of my whole life just got flipped upside down. But I actually am still continuing to have those conversations. My aunt, I talked to her for the first time in a while about it at Thanksgiving this year. And she was just like, I didn't ever realize you were so unhappy. And I think the thing is everyone loved him. He's great. But I was so not myself, but I didn't even know who I was in that period. So now that my family sees me so happy and so much lighter and brighter and doing things that give me so much more joy in life, it's like so evident that I was not my full self at that time. So it's like, she looked at me and she said, I never would have known that you were so unhappy until I see you today. And it's like very obvious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
How did you tell your parents? Like, how did you broach that? Because obviously you said you lived with your dad while it was going on because you had to obviously find a different space. But was it like a gradual, like, while you guys were having problems, you were kind of like venting to them along the way so they were prepared for that bomb to be dropped? Or was it like one day you had to go to them and be like, this is my decision. These are the things that like did you give them all the nitty gritty details? Like how did that go for you?
Yeah. So for me, it was, we had some significant moments in our relationship that more like blow up moments. And so when one of them happened, I went to my dad's and I just kind of like unleashed, told him everything, told him, you know, where we were in our relationship and how I was doing, which wasn't great. And so my dad was pretty much just kind of like along for the ride at that point. And so I would bounce back and forth. So we were building a house and we were living with his parents, which made everything just more difficult.
So would these, sorry to interrupt you, but would these blow ups happen in front of his parents or was it?
No.
Okay. So they were kind of blindsided as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So his mom did make a comment to me though, at one point in our married, seemingly happy life, she unhinged, just looked at me and goes, sometimes I look at you and Eric and I just don't think you guys are going to make it.
Oh boy.
And I was like, what? Like, I just like, and granted, I'd had those thoughts, but I think I just lost it because I'm like,
someone else saw it.
Is someone else seeing what I'm seeing? And I think I had masked it so much of like,
You're trying to make it seem like
I kind of shoved it down a little bit. I always kind of wondered if this was the right relationship, but I mean, it's so hard because again, he's a good guy and he's a nice guy and he, you know, he had become my best friend over, you know, we were married for 5 years, but we were together, you know, for 8 or something. God,
So
don't
long.
quote me on these numbers, but it was a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to picture life without him. But, you know, hearing that from someone that's so close to us was just like, what the hell? And then I kind of lost it. But it was shocking, I think, to everybody. But at the end of the day, like my family took it really well. My dad was, like I said, along for the ride because we were building a house. So I started bouncing back and forth between my dad's house. So I was staying partly there. And then my mom, I also kind of let her know like things are rocky. And it was more so when we started living semi-separately that I let her know. My dad kind of informed my brother a little bit like, hey, just, you know, be patient with your sister, love on your sister, give her some grace right now. There's a lot going on, which was helpful because I'm conflict avoidant. Like I don't want to go to someone and tell them, you know, I'm going through this really, really hard time right now. I don't want to admit it kind of. So I kind of just ignore it and act like everything's okay. So it was nice for my dad to kind of just be like, hey, you know, if she's not texting back or just, you know, keep her in your thoughts.
Right.
Things are going on. But my whole family was really, really good and really, really open to me, you know, starting this new phase of life and just like, how can we help you and support you? And so it's been really good. But
has anyone said that to you about me?
That we don't work.
Yeah. Or no, like what was that? What did she say to you?
She said something. It was like, I just don't know if you and Eric are
gonna make
in
it
it for the long haul or something,
or
long term. She said something along those lines of basically, I just don't think you guys are going to work. And I was like, I was sitting on the floor and we were just in some other conversation. And I looked at her and I was like,
right, carry
all
on.
right. And I
Carry
just
on
like
with your
walked
day.
downstairs. I called him and I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, what the hell did I just hear from your mother? But at the end of the day, she wasn't wrong.
wasn't right.
She wasn't
I
wrong.
mean,
So I can't
Moms
blame
have
her.
like an
Shout out, Mom.
intuition.
Seriously,
I feel like they do.
Mac, who has said that to you about me?
About you?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone said that to me.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, to me about you. I think my mom has made comments about how she doesn't feel like she knows you very well, but I think that's just like, I do feel like, and I don't know if you feel this way, but after the divorce, it's not that I keep things separate, but I do feel like while I was going through the divorce and now after, I do feel like there's a distance between myself and my family, like a little bit.
So
and
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not that I don't love them anymore or any less than I did. And it's not that like I feel like afraid of what, because my mom and my dad and my little brother, who actually, no, I never actually talked to him about it, but like they didn't, it's not that they didn't handle it well by any means, but I did have so many people in my life that like I felt kind of betrayed by when it came out. And I feel like they had such wrong opinions of not only myself, but like of my life. And like I felt very blindsided in that I do feel like now I just kind of have been keeping in my own little world with my friends and the people. I just feel like I very much value now the people who make me feel really good and the people I feel like I can be authentic with. And it's not to say I don't feel like I can with my mom and dad and my little brother, but I just feel like I do keep my relationships in my corner. Like Paul is my person in my little corner. And like, I just don't want anyone to have an opinion. Like I just want to make my own opinion about it and like go about my life and like make my own decisions without anyone's pressure, because it's not to say that I felt pressured to get married to the person that I was married to before, but I do feel like I didn't trust my gut in a lot of things that had happened prior to actually, because we were together for 4 or 5 years before we got married, 4 years I think it was. And I did have like there were a lot of times I think where both of us or one of us at periods of time we're like, is this really a good relationship? Like, do we really make a lot of sense? I mean, we had fun at certain times. Like and again, I think he's on his own. I think there's great qualities about him, but I do think that there were definitely a lot of times where it's like, yeah, this should end. This should end. And then even like prior to our wedding, we were engaged. It was like on the night we got engaged, like there was crying. Like there was just a lot of things where it's like, but I never trusted my gut. I always went with like, oh, my family loves him. Oh, my cousins love him. Oh, this makes sense. People say that like we make sense, things like that. And like, oh, everyone's really happy for us. Or like after we got married, I do remember calling my mom a few times being like, I just don't know. Like, I don't,
I'm not good.
Yeah, I'm not happy. And she was like, she didn't say like, oh, you better work it out or anything like that. But there was just like this underlying like fear of like making a mistake that like someone else was going to judge, not me necessarily. Like I knew when I decided that I wanted out of that relationship, I knew I wanted out of that relationship. I knew I wanted out of that marriage, and I knew that we would both be better off as people not being together. But there were a lot of people I felt like in my life that would see that as a mistake, or who were like, oh, well, like, are you sure you don't want to try marriage counseling? Oh, are you sure? Like, you know, that this just gets hard, or like, you can fix this. And it's like, I just want like, I don't know. Yeah. This is now my little corner thing that I want to just keep in my pocket over here.
That's so fair. And I think it's hard not to feel judged, because like I said, at first I felt like a failure when it didn't work. And we went to marriage counseling. I think enough had happened that it just wasn't fixable. And at the end of the day, like we are just two very different people with two very different, views on life and like our values. I think you can be in a relationship with two different forms of values, which, and not to say his are bad. He's a wonderful person with a great head on his shoulders, but what we found important in life was different. And if you can support each other, that's great. But then, if you can't, if you grow too far apart, it's just like, this isn't working. And there's a fear of judgment, but it's also like, you're young. So why spend your time in this relationship, regardless of how good this person might be or the judgment you might receive, if you have this whole other life that you could live that's more fulfilling to you. And I totally get like protecting your relationship with Paul, because, you've had that fear of judgment, and like, this is your safe space. And I think after a divorce, there's so much growth and there's so much finding yourself. And I mean, you are such a wonderful human being. And I feel like when I see you, I have so much respect for you and for this relationship that you two have, that I can completely understand that. I'm sure you've had a ton of growth over the past year since everything's happened. And I'm sure you've found a lot of like peace in your relationship with Paul, and a lot of love and a lot of, emotional support that you didn't receive before. Protect that. I get that. I think it's important to prioritize yourself and your relationship in this period of your life. And I do think it's important, obviously, for you to have a great relationship with our family. But I also know I was telling Erin on our way to Thanksgiving, sometimes I feel like I'm the single one that's like bringing a new boyfriend, and people are kind of just being like, I almost feel judged sometimes. It's weird, and I don't want that, because Erin is one of the most wonderful human beings. So I don't want him to be seen as like this new boyfriend of like, oh, just like Erin's dating someone new. I just want him to be seen as like his whole self.
Yeah.
In like the wonderfulness that is our relationship. And
but it's hard to separate that.
Yeah. I get protecting that. It's totally normal. And I do similar things, I think, but
yeah. Did you notice too, like I had a lot of relationships change with not only like, I mean, not with my, I guess, yeah, like I just said with my mom and dad and little brother, but like with my my extended family, with a lot of friendships too, without explanation. And so I guess like I have like a new group of people that I really love and like they're very, very important to me. I wouldn't trade them for the world. But it's hard walking into, like you said, like Christmas parties, Thanksgivings, and you're going to see extended family, but it's like your relationship with some of those people has changed, and it almost feels like it might not have been related to the divorce. It might not have. Like, it might have just been like people got busy, shifted away, but it's hard not to blame everything on like, oh, like she went through a divorce. She, you know, and they don't know the ins and outs. And it's hard, especially, I know that your relationship, no one like cheated or like there was no, you know what I mean? Like a huge, like people expect with divorce, it's like, someone had to have like had a whole ass affair, abuse. Yeah, there's all like there's those huge things that people think had to have happened, and it's like if you have the new boyfriend or like if you didn't show signs of like that was coming to you, then you must have been the one who did it.
Right, and I think like there is kind of that fear of like what are people thinking, but at the end of the day, I've kind of just embraced this like unapologetic like. If you have a question, ask me. If you're not comfortable asking me, we're not close enough anyways. So like, don't.
So
just
true.
leave me alone. But I think the thing is, I will say I'm very, very fortunate. My extended family is some of the closest to me. So like I have a group of cousins who are some of the best human beings in my life. And they are so supportive and so kind and empathetic and there. So, I mean, I have a lot of cousins, so I'm obviously not as close with all of them, but we kind of have this clump of girl cousins that we've all grown up together and we're all very close. And so some of them gave me the space to process that they knew that I needed because they know me so well, and others were just like, we split and I flew down to Miami to spend the weekend with my cousin and just cuddle in bed and watch movies and, you know, drink martinis at home because that's what I needed. And it was amazing. So I had a lot of really, really good support. I do sometimes when I go, like I had a cousin reach out to me and being like, I'm praying for you. I'm so sorry. And I was like, but I'm actually really good.
Like I'm fine.
Like I'm okay. And I appreciate the sentiment, right? Like I appreciate the thought, but like I'm not dying.
Right.
Like I'm okay. So I think you do see that shift a little bit and people being like, handling you with care of like, are you fragile and I'm like, I'm actually stronger and so much better than I ever have been, but thank you so much for your concern.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I remember the first time it was like, well, during the middle of our split, we had like our giant family Christmas party.
No.
And I walked in and all the aunts were like hugging me and they'd hug me and go, I've been praying for you.
Usually, and
I'm
it's
like, God damn
usually when they say I'm praying for you, they don't like what's going on. That's the vibe I get.
It is kind of a vibe.
When they
sinner.
like I'm praying for you. I don't like what you're doing. You're a bad person. But
it's like why would you not stay in that terrible, like not terrible, but why would you not stay in that relationship? Because I mean, there's people who are religious that don't believe in divorce, and so they see it as such like a sinful thing. But it's also like, this is my life. I am going to, do what's best for me. And at the end of the day, what's best for your ex too. Like,
right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that relationship wasn't serving either of you at that point. No. So it's like,
this isn't the 1940s Aunt Opal.
No, get over it.
Who's an Aunt Opal?
I don't know.
Get over it. We're fine. We're doing great. Yeah. We're drinking wine and podcasting. So life is good.
You're in a relationship. You're happy. He's in a relationship. He's happy. So it all worked out.
Right. And that's the thing is like, at the end of the day, my biggest thing with him is that I care still deeply about him as a human being. You can't spend that many years with someone and not care about them as a person. And I just hope that he's happy and I know he's moved on and I know that he is happy. And I think that's, that takes a weight off almost of, I care about you and I want to see life progress positively for you. And that's happening for him. And I'm really grateful for that. Because same, and things are really, really good on my end. And I feel like I'm a much different person than I was in that relationship. And, you know, I'm happy about that for myself. And, you know, I'm happy about, you know, where his life, I mean, obviously I know very, very little about what's going on in his life, but I do, you know that he's happy, and that's all I hope for. So things are good.
You're in a new relationship, obviously.
Yes.
With a very nice looking and nice acting man.
He's so hot.
He's so hot. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Paul just wants to talk about how hot he is.
Me too.
No, he is a very attractive young man.
You mentioned his name earlier for those listening.
Let's actually get into that. So his name is Erin. And my name is obviously Erin. So I would like to clarify that as we move forward, I'm not talking in the third person. It is weird, but also hilarious.
I call you guys the Erins.
Everyone does. I've actually gotten that a couple times this weekend of like, I'm not saying goodbye to both or like either of you separately. I'm saying goodbye to the Erins, and that is what it is. Which honestly makes it easier for everybody. So
how did you guys meet?
True.
Bumble. Good old internet. Yeah.
Okay.
Bumble.
Good old internet.
So that means, is that the girl talks first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The girl has to talk first.
Yeah, which was my least favorite because honestly, I do not want to have to put in the first amount of effort.
Were you like,
Ted.
fuck, I matched with this guy with the same name as me? Like,
So it was funny
Well, it's spelled
because
different.
it is spelled different, but it's still
right,
Erin.
I know.
Yeah, but
But-
it's a boy Aaron name.
It is funny because I looked at his profile, which was just so half-assed. It was
really?
just pictures of him, but mostly kind of from the side. But I could tell, I was like, there's no... I mean, granted, my profile was also like kind of half-assed. I was
That adds up.
on my way out of Bumble. I was like, this is
Yeah.
On my way out of Bumble.
I was like, I'm
We
not
all
putting the
are.
amount of effort into this.
You mean you didn't use your marketing and Canva skills for your Bumble
No,
profile?
that's not where my energy was going, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I saw his profile and I was like, I know nothing about this man except for the fact that he's extremely good looking, and I'm going to use that shallow card and I'm swiping whatever direction you're supposed to swipe. And I did because he was cute, and he is, in fact, very cute. But yeah, so we met on Bumble and we went on our first date in January of this year. So we are coming up to a year, but yeah.
So give me your, he's a man, obviously.
A man.
What are like, and you guys don't live together currently, but like you obviously spend a decent amount of time. What are 3 like of his quirky behaviors where you're like, let's change this?
she does this with me too. It's like, what's your top 4 favorite things about me?
Yeah, and Paul
These are
just
not
has
favorites. These are
nothing. These are
quirky.
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 Like
When you say quirky, do you mean things she doesn't like?
I'm trying to be nice about it.
Okay.
Not like,
Things
not
I
like,
don't like.
but not like core things. You're not like, I hate that he's a liar. Like,
Well, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I hate that Paul uses our hand towels to wipe his pee-pee.
Oh,
We have already heard about this one. This has been girls' night fave.
it happened once.
Yeah.
And I also hate that Paul claims
Once
that he
is enough,
gives all
Paul.
women orgasms.
I didn't claim.
Ooh.
I never
We
claimed
need to
that.
actually circle back to this because
Yeah.
this is an
Yeah.
important conversation.
It is.
I
It got
think
brought up in the last
needs
podcast.
to be
Yeah.
acknowledged.
And
Yeah.
then the
And I
third
was
thing
joking.
about Paul is that I can follow his
Oh,
trails
this-
through the house.
This turned.
There's like one pair of pants.
This turned into
and
a
then
problem
light.
she has with me.
Okay, I'm finished.
No,
I would like to hear your quirks with Erin.
Oh, my quirks.
Because he seems like a nice guy. I mean, he likes
Mm-hmm.
your typical things, wrestling and World of Warcraft. Is that what it's called? Dungeons and Dragons.
World of Warcraft.
Not Dungeons.
Oh
and
no, I
Dragons.
don't think
Yeah,
he
it
does
is.
World
No,
of Warcraft. He
no,
does
it is
play
Dungeons
Dungeons
and
and Dragons.
Dragons.
It
World of
is.
Warcraft's like a
He
computer
likes,
game.
He
Oh, I don't
does
know.
like computer games, or there's like one that he likes. I do block that out of my brain a little bit. But I think it's endearing because my dad actually also loves nerdy games,
Really?
and I kind of love that he has that weirdly in common with my dad.
Yeah.
Aw.
But
And it brings him down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he is an attractive man. It, like, almost brings him to, like, a realistic level.
well, that's what's so funny about Erin is that, like, from face value, and don't get me wrong, he is one of, like, I could talk about him all day because he truly is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met. He's got a lot to him, but, I mean, at face value, he is hot. He is athletic. He, you know, is D1 wrestler at Michigan. Like, he's got
he
a
can
lot.
build things, right? He, like, is
yeah,
renovating
he's
his house.
extremely handy.
So,
he's
yeah.
great at woodworking.
He can rollerblade.
He can rollerblade. He used to be a
Still
little
haven't
skater
seen
boy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a skateboarder, but
Oh, okay.
he can rollerblade. He's got a lot of talents. It's actually that's a quirky, annoying thing is that he's actually good at everything,
Yeah.
which I think I can beat him in running now. So I will hold that against
You
him for the
definitely
rest
could.
of forever. But I think the thing with Erin is hard because I do love him and our relationship is so like kind of fresh. I mean, it's a year, but
Yeah.
the quirky things are so small because the bigger things that he does for me are so like, it sounds
Right.
so corny, but like so outweighing
Yeah.
of that I don't see. Like he
Paul's over there like, yeah. Like looking at me like, you better remember what she's saying because
Stop yelling
you
at me
should feel
about
the
the
same way.
towels.
well, so
okay, that's gross.
I will whack Aaron forever. He cracks his
Whack?
fingers.
Like, actually-
like literally like,
Oh, you'll hit him.
yeah, I'll give him
Abusive.
Yeah, I am, and I'll admit it. He cracks his fingers, and it's freaking disgusting.
Oh, like this way?
But he cracks them, yeah, like every which direction, and I'm like, if you do not stop, I will break your fingers off.
do
Mac
that.
does it. Mac does them this way.
I do them in my
Down?
sleep
I
too
can
before I
do
go to
this
bed.
way.
And
I can do it this
that's
way.
not good for
it's
you, I
the
don't
little
think.
guys. Like those ones are like
Oh.
disgusting.
Like your fingertips and stuff. I do that.
Yeah.
And my wrists and everything else.
Yeah, he drinks my water, which really pisses me off.
Like out of
because-
your bottle?
Yeah, like how am I supposed to know what my water
Your
intake
water
is?
intake is.
You're drinking my water.
He doesn't have his own
Dead.
bottle.
No, that's
What?
actually I told him that today. I was
Paul's
like,
like, I can't
need your
imagine.
own- You need your own water bottle, and he was like, that fits in a stocking because we're just doing stockings
That
this
fits
year.
in a
So
stocking.
he's like, I'm gonna get you a Stanley, and you're gonna be a basic little bitch.
Is
And
he
it's
walking around with like Aquafina bottles all around the place?
basically, or
Oh,
just
no.
he leaves. Okay, and he also leaves cups.
Oh.
Like
He's a cup leaver.
he's a cup leaver, and he just hoards them. And
Ew.
but that's kind of annoying.
That's good. Okay, that was
And he leaves
two
lights
things.
on, so he should stop doing that. But
Oh,
If you're
lights.
listening to this, Erin, stop doing all these things.
stop doing them. But
Maybe you will get laid more.
well,
He's doing okay there.
yeah, he's doing fine.
Okay, we have one more thing.
I'm pretty good with lights.
No.
Oh no.
You're
I feel like I listed
Paul's
off
a
like
hit
4
and run.
things.
Paul's a hit and runner.
What's
you know
that
what I
mean?
mean? Like
Like you leave the light on and run away.
no, it's like everything he
Yeah.
does is like a hit and run. Like for instance, every night before we go to bed, it's like he decides his bedtime because he has to work so early in the morning. He's like, burgers. Daddy gotta go 9-9.
Okay. Nobody says it.
What
do
was
too.
that?
He says he calls himself Daddy sometimes, and he's like, and he
Daddy.
calls me Burgerhead. He's like,
Yeah,
Daddy.
Burger.
I did not want to know that about you.
He does. He's like, Daddy's gotta go 9-9.
Daddy's gotta
He
go
did it in front of my
9-9.
dad, and I was like,
I
Did
feel like
I?
this.
yes, you did.
No.
And
What?
you- when we were at Thanksgiving, you called yourself Daddy.
Did I?
Yes, and I immediately you didn't realize it because
oh
it's
my
like
God.
second nature for you to
I
call
don't
yourself it.
remember that.
We were sitting on the couch, and you're like, "Daddy doesn't feel good," or you're like, "Daddy needs more ice cream." You said something about Daddy, and I was like, my dad was like
Aw.
sitting out next to us on the chair, and I was like, "God
So
damn it,
good.
you
I
cannot
didn't
call
see this
yourself
for
Daddy."
you. Also, I feel like I can't get down with that. I didn't want to know that. I don't think.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's like, but he'll like say that, right? And then I'm like, okay, sure, we can go to bed. And he shuts the TV off, and all of a sudden I hear going up the stairs, and I'm like, oh,
so it's your world, Max, just living in it.
yeah. So, but it's like,
I'm
okay,
tired.
we have to turn off the string lights above the couch. We've got to turn off like all the lights in the kitchen. We got to blow the candles out. So like all this stuff, and he's already upstairs brushing his teeth. And I come upstairs, and he's undone his half of the bed.
Yeah.
Like he leaves the nice pillows.
I
like
don't know
it
when
looks
you're
like
gonna get in
yeah,
your
it looks
house.
like
Erin does
nobody-
that too.
I'm like,
But
take it
that's
all
the
off.
well, that's the thing is like when I get into bed because I don't want Aaron. Respectfully, I did not give him a good pillow, so he has this shitty ass like $5 pillow that he is just working with at this
Damn.
point. But he also uses the sham pillow,
What
so
is
he's.
that?
Can't use the shams.
I know it grosses me out because
It's
like
so
this
gross.
is for decoration.
Do you
only.
use your comforter? Because Paul makes me use the comforter.
What do you mean?
Like that's
Why
a
would you
comforter.
not use your comfort? It's for comfort.
Matt,
It's to
Matt,
comfort you
it's for
while
warmth.
you sleep.
No,
yes,
I always pull off everything that's for show, aka the comforter
sure.
and the sham, and then I would use like a blanket on the bed and then the sheets. But
Okay.
Paul uses everything.
I use I don't use the
Blasphemy.
sham. No, I'm pretty sure that's a hot take. I would like to do a poll on whatever form of social media. Who the fuck isn't using their comforter?
Yeah,
that's
I'm
like
using a
literally
comforter.
what
Is
it's
that
for.
true? Yeah,
Yeah.
My mom always pulls down like while we were younger, and I used to, my friends in high school like used to think I was crazy, and I'm
'Cause you
starting to think
are
I
now.
am.
Yeah.
because like my mom would pull off the comforter. You fold it up. You're not allowed to use the comforter. The comforter is for show. It
No,
is,
it's
like goes
not.
on the
It
top.
is for active use.
Yeah, no, I never did
Yeah.
that
I
I
until
think they
Paul
make them
came
so
around.
heavy and like
Right, it's
thick,
comfortable.
warm.
It's
I don't know.
comforting.
I
Yeah.
always took it off, and like Paul, you're the first man and person in my life I let use the comforter, and now it's just like a thing we do. But every
Yeah.
time I do it, I'm like, oh,
Nice.
You are special.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
not that special.
This
Well,
is-
I was using the shams too on the
Yes,
guest bed.
it was, and I was like, what the fuck?
I honestly thought they were pillow covers. I did.
I
It's
showed
okay,
up.
You have so much to learn.
Okay, well, hold up. This is important.
Pillowcase.
So Paul is 34.
Yeah.
He's a 34-year-old man, so I'm expecting a lot out of this guy. And he's like, for the
No, you
first
weren't.
time when I went and stayed the night at his house in his bed, I went over there and I get into this room and it's like a fucking 12-year-old's room. He's got the plastic pull-out drawer thing.
Yeah,
and
those are nice.
I have one.
No,
it's okay.
but not
it just
like
holds my
he
underwear
was-
and it's in my closet, so it's not out for show.
His was out for show, and he's got these weird artworks hanging up like a house of flowers. And it's like you went like to fucking Walmart and picked out $5
Hobby
things.
Lobby.
How many
Oh,
cactus
it's worse.
prints were in there?
There were not in my room. They were put away.
They
in
were put away.
storage. Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I crawl into his Target ass sheets. Like it's like
Yeah.
the Target kids section, you know?
No, like the
No.
room essentials.
Yes,
like
it's the room essentials. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like really thin. And then he has his nice pillow that's like a decent pillow again
it
with the
is.
sham on it. And then he's got like his 2 crap pillows he gave me that
Yeah.
are like literally so thin.
Pieces of
and there's
computer
boogers.
Bookers.
He's like blowing his nose with
No.
the
No.
crap.
Yes, I will call you out for this. The first thing I noticed when I got in your bed is right in between your pillows on the wall you had a collection of the like
What?
probably the size of a penny of boogers.
I'll be honest, I really don't pick my nose. I really don't. But
You
there
don't.
was wax on the wall from the candle.
No, this was not wax. This
I
was
don't
a
know.
booger.
I don't
This
pick my
is-
nose.
I
And
feel
I
like
was
you're
nastied
really,
out.
really like calling him out right now.
Yeah,
well,
this is a
because
lot.
We never
This is
talked.
nothing.
Well, you're like, I'm going to call you out. I'm like, I don't think there's much you would not call Paul out
Yeah,
for,
but I never
honestly.
told him about this because I noticed, and every time I got into his bed, I was like, oh, this. And I just wanted to
boogers.
I wanted to clean it so bad, but I was
Clean
like,
it.
you can't be OCD about this. So
She is OCD.
I am, but then
Oh,
yeah.
same.
So it's just like. It was just tragic, and I was like, "This is this man's room that I'm staying in," and I was
That's
like,
hard. I
ugh.
mean, but at the end of the day, it's like you live comfortably the way that you live, and it is what it is. I had that fear. So when I met Erin, we primarily stayed at my place
Yeah.
because he was living with his sister because he was new to Grand Rapids. So he was staying with her and then kind of figuring out if he wanted to buy a house on the east side or the west side. So I couldn't really fully gauge his like
Style.
mature.
Kind
And granted,
Yeah.
I also need to say he's younger than me, which was a huge
yeah.
fear. Yeah.
"Oh yeah,
Oh,
he's 28.
He's
Okay, that's what I
28.
thought.
So I was a little bit nervous that he was going to be
A child."
a child.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Well, in boy years, he's really 24 if he's 28.
yeah, well,
years.
right, because their brains
Yeah.
are so slow. Paul's like, I hate
It's
this episode.
true.
This is draining. But I was actually nervous about it. But lo and behold, he's one of the more mature human beings I've ever met. I'm probably on the lower scale for that. Like, he's
No.
more, no, I know, I'm very mature. I'm very
You're like, I'm so.
I
great."
know that was funny, but no, he's very mature. But it was a fear that like I was gonna walk into boogers on the wall.
Oh, I did. He's 34.
Oh my gosh, Paul! You look how far you've come though.
I can't
No,
confirm they were
don't.
boogers.
I bet you they're still there. You need poor.
Yeah.
You don't know what I
didn't
find.
vacuum the wall.
Okay, I need
Sorry.
to like. I'm gonna. I don't know if I can say this. You could. If I can't say this on the podcast, you can cut it out.
Oh God.
But like, I have this thought sometimes where I'm like thinking to myself. So Paul, lived with 2 people prior to living with me. And now
Ryan and Tori, shout out.
2 his roommates. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But prior to him being with me, like years ago, he had a thing with a girl.
Okay.
He's like, where's this going?
Right.
And now the girl who he had in his bedroom, I'm sure you had her in your bedroom at Ryan and Tori's, correct?
I don't know who we're talking about.
Is this the one who's getting married?
Yes.
Okay, I know who we're talking about.
How do you not know? It's the person that, like, I don't want to say her name on here.
Don't
but
say her
she's-
name.
getting
the one I was
married.
seeing before I saw you.
No, the
Oh.
one that you never
getting
actually
married soon.
dated. She's getting married soon. We're going to her wedding, probably. I guess. I'm assumption. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
You slept with, like, not slept with her
She never was in
sexually.
that bed.
She was never in the bed.
No.
Okay, because
Because I wasn't living there. I was living in Keizu at that time.
Oh, when you had a thing with your.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. Because I was like, oh, it's so weird because now her fiance is living
No,
in
no,
Paul's
no,
room.
no,
And I was like,
no.
can you imagine going and sleeping in that room? And you're like, I've been in this room
Never
before.
Oh,
was-
is he living there?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
So sometimes
That's
I
kinda funny.
so sometimes I have that thought and I'm like, oh, that would be so trippy. Like I know as a girl I'd be like, oh, I'm scandalous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
but I was gonna say you probably didn't clean it, so she probably also saw the boogers
Yeah.
and now
Lord.
sees the boogers there.
She's
He
like,
just-
gosh darn it,
He's
Paul.
like, oh, he had put some there too. I'm gonna add mine.
He's like, I knew we had a lot in common.
So not only
He's like,
not only taste in women, but also
Like booger
boogers.
placement.
yeah.
It's a rite of passage.
We never grow up.
No,
You
it's
really
okay.
don't. That's like the
Honestly-
stupid question thing. Does Erin do that?
What's that?
What?
And I saw it on TikTok, and it's totally real. Men get there's a lot of things that men do, but they get lazy, and they ask stupid questions where it's like If they just did it, like any sort of educational research, they would figure out the answer. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, where do you, it's like, have you seen my keys? And it's like, they're literally on the counter where you left them. And it's like, I know that because I'm an aware person. And you would know that if you took 5 seconds to look for them. But instead of looking, you ask me. And it's like, that's a stupid question. And you should only get 5 stupid questions a day.
That's fair. I feel like Erin
Yeah.
does ask like some things that I like literally stare at him and I'm like, think about it. However,
I say that too. I'm like, think up an answer.
I am wildly guilty of like today I'm marching around the house before I come here and I'm like, where the shit is my wallet? Which is like a common issue, which is also Erin. He's terrible at that. But like I can't sit here and judge and pretend like I'm not also
You just have to put them in the wallet basket.
Well, I left it in his car last night, so that was the issue. But he doesn't, he's very capable. It's actually annoying because I wish I could sit here and just be like, kind of like
it's kind of
rag
annoying
on
that
him.
you're not
I
ragging on him.
I wish I could rag on him.
I wish that he was here so he could rag on you.
I know. Well, he wouldn't because he's too nice. That's like the problem.
Yeah, we could get it to him.
We could. Honestly, we could bring him here as a 4th guest, and I think it would actually be really entertaining.
Yeah, we could bum our mic for him.
But he will ask me some silly things every once in a while, but like vice versa, kind of. But yeah, I think men are generally a little bit slow, respectfully.
Okay.
But I think we all have our moments, and it can be said about all of us.
Yeah.
So
I've had my fair share of dumb questions.
besides, I don't know where I was
You
going.
lost your train of,
No, I have a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But that was a bad lead into the question. So on my social media, I did hot takes. What is one of your hot takes that you have?
Do you have any?
I gave you some earlier. What was? Oh, well, I had the Chick-fil-A fries are better than Culver's fries. Hot take. I don't think people should get married on holidays.
True.
I don't think that people should get. This goes back to the divorce. Okay, and I say this with an asterisk. I say this with an asterisk because I know plenty of people in my life who have gotten married at a young age and are doing perfectly fine.
Are they though?
From the outside looking in, they're doing great. But like, I think we all know that
that's not true.
But I think it should be harder to get married than it should be to get divorced. Like,
It's
it is
so hard to
fucking hard to get divorced. It's so annoying.
And they look at you. I was like,
I didn't pay for it, but I'm now paying to get my name changed.
were you the one who went in and filed the paperwork, or was
No,
it
that
him?
was him.
Oh, dude,
Because
that was the
I was
scariest time
like-
of my life.
I didn't want to get a lawyer. I mean, it was pretty amicable, so like
Right.
it was pretty easy. But he ended up getting a lawyer just to like file the paperwork. So it was really cut and dry, super easy.
Yeah, that's
not
nice.
we didn't really have to talk through the paperwork too much. But I did not file it.
Oh,
but
I felt like I was walking up to like death row when I had to like go ask for the paperwork and like get everything like figured
That's
out just
super
to
fair.
serve him the papers. I was like, excuse me, and he's like, you're suing me? Because do you realize that when you divorce someone, you're technically suing them for being a bad spouse?
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I had to like confront my ex about that because he was like, you're suing me, like I'm the plaintiff, and I was like, or the defendant, and I was like,
I was the defendant.
oh, I was
Yeah.
like,
'Cause
yeah,
I
I
didn't
guess
file.
so.
You got sued.
That felt a little shitty, honestly. I was like, I'm sitting over here like, God damn it. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel good.
I know, it's like, why do we have to treat it like that? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's
why are
the
you
thing
suing
too.
someone for that?
And having to go up onto the stand and like, did you do yours over Zoom?
Yeah, they had us do it over Zoom.
Yeah. So I did it in the courthouse.
I
and
said
like,
I do.
oh yeah, that's kind of funny.
It
That's
was-
how ironic is that?
Well, it was bad because they called me out and everybody it was really uncomfortable. Because they ask you a bunch of questions and you're supposed to say, what is it? Like, yes or something like that? You're supposed to say yes. And I said, I do.
So I had mine in the courthouse. So that was just like a whole mess of emotions,
Brutal.
right? But like Erin's was over Zoom. And so he's like texting me during it. And I was like, honestly, the jealousy that I am feeling right now that you get to do this from the comfort. Honestly, he was in my apartment, but I was like, the comfort from my apartment. I was like, I'll leave. This feels like a you thing. Like, I won't sit in the corner and like wait for your divorce. But I waited patiently at the pool for him to come out, and then we cheers at the end. But yeah, we were dating while he was married. So scandalous. I know, so bad. But
Well, his took a lot longer. Right?
his did take a lot longer.
But
It-
there's more complications
because
there in a way.
they didn't use lawyers at all. So
I didn't
he
either.
filed, and some of the papers were like out of order, but they didn't tell him. Like they went into, and this, I feel bad that I'm talking about this because it's not my divorce, but also
Right.
it's not anything. It's not like it's tea.
yeah.
But so they went into the initial divorce Zoom, and the judge didn't tell them that the papers were out of order or something, or that they were missing a paper until it was their turn in the Zoom. And then they had to refile because she was like, this is wrong. This is how you're supposed to do it. So we had to refile and then go into a new Zoom.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
And then it took extra long. And then I just felt bad for the guy at that point because I'm like, he's like emotionally exhausted from, you know, going through that. And it's like, you're just ready at that point. For him, like, I think, you know, going to my family parties or meeting my family, I think there was like that tinge of, I'm still married. And obviously I'm divorced. So I have no feelings about that at all. Like, I completely understand that the process is the process and that, like, there's also no feelings there. So it's not a big deal. But you just feel bad. You're like, this is exhausting.
Yeah.
But
it's weird after divorce how like little marriage means. I know it sounds so bad,
true.
But it's just like, it's literally, I mean, my mom always said, she's like, my mom's like so dramatic, right? Like she's literally a drama queen. She's like, I just can't believe you had your dream wedding with the wrong guy.
Okay, but like the wedding is just so, I actually want Paul's hot take on
yeah, because you've never been
comment.
married.
Well, like her saying that how much divorce kind of like diminishes the meaning of marriage. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, what is your hot take
I
on
would
my
love
feeling on marriage?
to really put you on the spot
at
here.
this point.
I think the actual wedding itself is not as big of a deal as it's too big of a deal to me because it's for other people and not for the couple necessarily. If it is for the couple, like the couple needs that, then there's a problem to me.
But like, what is your take on the fact that like obviously to me, marriage doesn't necessarily mean a ton anymore in a way. Like, and you've had conversations about me because I've had a stance where I'm like,
do you feel jaded though?
And he's had this conversation with me before about being jaded. I don't know if it's necessarily jaded or it's the fact that it's like, it's just like, it's like,
I will say this. I will say this. My dad got married at like 50, 51, 52, right around there, remarried, and he was way happier. Well, somebody dropped their phone.
That would be me.
She got really bored.
I literally just bought a new phone because Matt cracked my other one.
I did.
You did.
You did?
Actually,
I felt bad about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She would have stole you one. We'll get into that.
Yeah, that's coming. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for more. This
let
is
me know.
important. I really want
No.
to
But my dad got remarried. He was never really happy in his first marriage to my biological mom. And he was so happy. I think it does have a significant impact on you when it's the right time and it's the right person.
Yeah.
I think maybe both of you innately knew it probably wasn't the right situation.
I agree. I think I feel the exact same way because we had like the fairy tale beautiful wedding. Like I think you did too, where it was just like, this is what
you do the
people dream
bachelorette party, you do the bridal showers,
the whole song and dance.
Yeah.
But like, and even like when we were breaking up, they were like, or my ex was like, I mean, we had the perfect wedding. And I'm like, but what does that even mean? Because at the end of the day, like you can get married, but that's not what defines the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more the core. Like we didn't communicate well. We weren't supporting each other in the way that we needed to. And now that I'm in a relationship that has all of that, it just is so different of like, this is what defines a long-term relationship is like the foundation that we have built as a couple and the communication that we have and the way in which we support each other and the way that we are two individual human beings who have our own lives and values and hobbies and things that we enjoy, but also come together and complement each other so well, I think is what makes a long-term relationship.
It's true.
And we've talked about marriage because, you know, we're at a year, I'm 30, like, those are the things that start to creep into your mind.
It's different when you're older, I think. Like when you're younger, you feel like you have to date for like 4 to 5 years or even 3 years or 2 years because you obviously are starting younger. But when you're older, it doesn't really matter as much having as much of a background of like, oh, we dated for 12 years and now we're married.
Now we're married and we're so happy.
Yeah.
But like I'm kind of in the boat of like, I don't need to get married again. And I also like, and that's kind of what ended my relationship before Erin, not my ex-husband, but I had a very brief boyfriend after my marriage. And it kind of ended because I was like, I don't know if I want to get married and you want to get married so badly that like, I just don't know that I can get there, especially right now because this is such a pivotal time in my life. Yeah. But with Erin, it's just like things are so good and so solid and like I would see that for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially. I don't think that there's a need to get married. If we wanted to have kids, I would probably say we should get married.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think that there's a strong need to get married, but I also don't write that off. Like, I would do that again with him. I don't do the whole freaking wedding again. Like,
Rigmarole.
hell no.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not.
But does some
like,
of it like, and maybe this is a me thing, but like some of me feels like because obviously Paul and I have been dating for almost a year in February, which people think we've been married. That's actually been like a weird thing. People have been thinking that we've been dating forever, but
literally act like Caro said it perfectly. I'm just gonna always reference Caro's podcast, but like you guys fight like an old married couple. I love it.
Shout out, Caro.
When I found out that you guys were not dating for a
very
long time,
yeah.
I was like, I actually love this so much, and I know that there was like conversation of don't originally see you two together. I think Caro said something about
that we just like don't make necessarily sense when it comes to like personality wise.
Do because you guys just let each other be each other. Like, and I think that there's so much importance to that. I said like a couple of minutes ago that there's something to be said about two individuals being their own independent selves but coming together and complementing each other. That's you two. Like, you guys support each other so strongly and you're so independently you, and you guys like give each other shit and are not afraid to do so, and I love that about you.
True.
But it is true, and I think that like you guys actually make so much sense because you let each other be each other, and like you'll give each other shit for it, but you also support each other so strongly. So I get where she's coming from, and I'm not like disagreeing because you guys are so different, but I think in such a complimenting way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like part of it is like we've been dating for almost a year, but you're a little bit more, obviously you had more time under your belt prior to Erin. You like you said, you had a little short time relationship and things like that, but there is a tiny bit of me that feels like, even though we've been dating for a year, obviously Paul's old. Just kidding.
This comes up every podcast.
And it's actually
You're
something.
not that much older than me. So
know.
like
You're really not. You're
I'm
not.
kind of, I fall in the middle of you two, so I'm not
that's
offended,
true.
but like
You're going to be
I feel
offended
you.
soon.
Soon. Give me a couple
Always.
years, Mac, and you're just
I know,
offended me.
but then Paul's gonna be even older. Anyway, but like obviously Paul's not getting any younger. But it's like you've said before that ideally, when I asked you like where do you see yourself in 2 years, you talked about potentially having a kid at that point, which means like, okay, well, that we obviously wouldn't be dating as long. But I think for me, it kind of is like almost a level of like worry when it comes to like getting engaged, because it's like, will people be happy for me in a sense? Like, you know what I mean? Like you'll be happy for me. Obviously, you'll be happy for us. Like our close friends will be happy for us. But there are some people in your life, and I don't know if you feel this way, where you're like, is it gonna seem stupid if I'm like he put a ring on it, and it's like, oh, she was just married, like, and now 2 years later she's getting married again.
I say fuck them, because honestly, like I've thought about this so much, because I was like I look at Erin and I'm like, I would love to spend the rest of my life with you. You are such a wonderful human being.
Peep
like
Erin.
Yeah, seriously.
Erin.
I asked him before I came on this podcast, I'm like, is there anything I would say that would like you would not be happy about? He's like, oh no. And then here I am, I'm just like completely hyping him up. But
we get it.
He's
a
great,
good
okay?
guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop though. With what was he even saying? I just got like sidetracked.
Well,
but
you're just saying like fuck them, like,
well, okay,
who cares what other people think?
Yeah. So with that, I completely understand, because I look at Erin, I'm like, I would love to marry you, but then I'm also like, well, I wouldn't want to do the whole bachelorette party thing again. Like that feels so silly.
But it's stupid because I would love to
wedding.
give you like a bachelorette party, like right, like because I didn't celebrate with you, kind of thing.
Right? And I think that especially in this phase of life, like we all have kind of new friends. Like you've met new people, and you want to celebrate with those people, and like you want to have these moments with people who weren't there for it the first time. But also, like, it's your life. If you're happy and you're doing the things that make you happy, if you don't want a bachelorette party, don't have one. If you want to have one, freaking have one. Like, the people who are not happy for you or are judging you are not people who deserve to be in your life close enough to have those feelings anyways. Like, if they are having a negative feeling about something that's so happy in your life, they can fuck right off.
Yeah. Meeting new adult friends is kind of wild, because
so wild.
Yeah, it is, because like
the
people you
two
were
are my new adult friends.
Yeah. Because the people you were friends with.
Is there
when
like a
you're,
level above adult? Because that's
what do you
Paul's
mean?
age.
and here we go.
I'm
so
entering that
sorry.
phase.
I'm so
Please leave me
sorry.
alone.
No, you're not. You're still 30.
I'm 30.
You're
I'm
30, 40, thriving.
We need more wine.
Honestly.
Butler? Where's the butler?
I can go get it in a minute.
That would be
but
so
meeting,
lovely.
what was I saying is meeting new adult friends is kind of wild because like the people you were friends with previously, like when you were younger, it's a little scary because you feel like maybe you're outgrowing them in a weird
Yeah.
way.
And
Not
that
like
is a
you're doing
weird-
better things.
But kind of.
But no.
But sometimes your
Different or
paths-
maybe better or different.
Yeah, but I feel like as an adolescent, some of the people that I was bonding with were bonding with them because of like, one, convenience, right? Like a lot of it was convenience as a kid.
I'll get one.
And, okay, thank
Keep
you.
going.
Mine's a Josh and hers is the other one. 19 grams. Peep. And the other thing is like a lot of times you're bonding with them because your party was like quote unquote fun, right? You're going to the bars, you're like doing fun things, and it's like that's not your priorities anymore.
Right.
And like we've grown as people, and I mean I guess it's like whoever wants to have that as their priorities, it's not to say they're worse or like less off than people who don't, but I think it's just different.
I think there's something too. Like
Paul's trying to take advantage of me tonight. He's filling my glass up a lot. Okay, more than that. That's it?
Yeah, keep it moving. We've got so much to talk about, so much wine to drink.
Yeah.
I feel like
still
having
wimpy,
She has a drinking problem.
You should just tell Erin to come over here and eat the pizza here.
Yeah, text him. I don't even want to know what time it is. This is like we have so much to talk about. It's not important. Anyways, moving on. To your point, like meeting new adult friends, I think is really special because I think those are like at this point in your life, you have gotten to the point where you know who you are, you know what makes you happy, you know what fills your cup. For example, Paul fills my cup with wine. It's like important in adult friends to have that.
Slave.
But I think it's so important. And then, you know, the people serve you in your lifetime when they're meant to. And I don't mean serve you as in like Paul serving me wine. But like people fill your cup and they fulfill your life at a time when it means, you know, it makes sense for both of you, right? And so like if it's going out in college and you're drinking and it's your party friend or someone you go out and drink with, that's great. If your lives then deter from each other, that's okay because I think that's just life.
Yeah.
But I think people fall into your life when they're meant to and relationships are mutually beneficial. They should be. So you should be giving back in the way that someone is giving to you. And if that stops on one side or your life does not continue to run together, I think that's completely okay. But I think that's just the phase of life. So
for sure.
I have plenty of friends who, you know, I'm no longer friends with that were friends with me in college. Or I have friends who I don't necessarily spend a ton of time with them because our lives are just so vastly different at this point. But I still cherish and love and want to spend time with them and will not lose that connection. It just looks different. And then I have friends like you two who I spend the majority of my time with. And, you know, we have open conversation and we click a lot and our hobbies match up where we're doing the things that we love together and also kind of bonding over it and other things, etc. But there's different people who run in your life differently. And I think it's okay for some to phase out if they're no longer serving you, and it's okay for other things to light up and to engage a little bit more when they are.
And
so,
I used to have a lot of anxiety when like my friend groups would collide, quote unquote, because I feel like there was a time in my life where like I was a different person as a whole, but like also for different people. Like I had friends who were family that were friends. I had friends who like didn't necessarily do the same hobbies as me, but like I partied with them. I had friends who I met at rec league teams and things like that. And when I would have like birthday parties and things, I would get so much anxiety watching them collide, and I would almost not know who I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had a different role and I played a different part with all of them.
Yeah.
Versus now, I feel like all the people in my life, when we get together, it's very much like I just feel like the same person. And now it's just like more fun watching all those people like talk and meet each other like and connect, rather than like a stressful time for me to be like, okay, like what do I do? Because I'm usually the funny person with them and like the serious person with them. And with them, I feel like they think I'm kind of crazy and like a little bit OCD. And like now I just feel like one whole person that everybody knows as a genuine, like just authentic.
But I think that's
kind of
because
thing.
you know who you are now more than ever. And I think that the people who are in your life currently in this moment know you genuinely for who you are.
For
because
sure.
you are the funny friend. You are the kind, empathetic friend. You are a little bit crazy. Like you,
This is
you
accurate.
are OCD.
Yeah.
But like you are all of those things, and it's okay to be all of those things. And the people who now surround you as they collide know that person because they accept every single corner of who you are, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So I think, like we said, like friends phase, and that's completely okay. But you are not the person that you were, 1, 2, 3 years ago. That is so okay. That's called growth because we are constantly evolving as human beings, but it's important to surround yourself with people who completely genuinely accept you for who you are. And I think that that's actually very, very beautiful of a thing for you to like have your housewarming party and for you to be so open about like, this is my birthday party, this is my housewarming party, this is my 1 year divorce party, I may whip out the wedding dress,
like who knows,
and to see all of these people from different walks of life,
great times, I hope,
and have a great time. Everyone was having such a good time, and even like, I mean, your lives have collided so much, and I feel like you and Mac and your friends, and seeing that all come together so seamlessly is really important. So I think it just all goes to show that like life is, comes in phases, and people come in phases. And
like I love my scissor sisters from high school, but like
context, please.
No.
Context.
No, the
please.
context is scissor sisters.
That's
but
the
like,
context.
Like
there's
I
so
love
many
them.
different things that could mean.
It's exactly. The thing is like. So I had a core group of girlfriends in high school, and I'm honestly not close with any of them anymore, which is fine. I peep those people, like not peep, but like so happy for the people who kept their relationships from high school all through their life. I'm not one of those people. I think I've changed so much. I've gone through a lot, and I don't necessarily like the person I was in high school, but I loved those girls, and I still like love them so much for being. Actually, I have a few friends from high school, but like I still love the girls, like the core group of girls that I was friends with. But we were crazy, and 2 of them texted me because a lot of them still keep in a contact, and they were like, "Oh, like we want to start a podcast. We have all these stories from high school," and like we do. But yeah, they're called the Scissor Sisters.
They're not called that. Didn't I start calling you guys that?
Paul started calling them that.
Oh,
yeah,
so
because
you
of
can give me context
because of my stories from high school.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you ever like when someone like tickles you? You know,
We talked about this.
I'm
with
not
Brittany.
extremely
we
ticklish.
did. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Not on the podcast.
Oh, we didn't?
No,
Oh,
we talked
okay,
about it
okay.
like casually.
Oh, okay.
Like
So get on the table.
No,
Oh,
we're not
okay.
getting on the table. But like
This is
when
going
like,
somewhere weird.
but you know when you like lift your arm up.
Okay.
So like actually I can just use your hand. You know when someone does that
Soft
to you?
touches, yes.
Yeah, and they like tickle you. So
Max like stroking.
I love
Erin's
it.
arm.
Yes,
it's the
great.
best, and please keep going.
So like what I used to do with a couple of my girlfriends is like we would do like tickle time. Like it'd be like, okay, let's tickle, and like
I love how you call it tickling.
Tickle time,
I would call it
guys.
tickle. I still tell like Paul, like, will you tickle my arm? I think it's because my little brother deserves a girlfriend, so I don't want this to embarrass him. But like he would used to say to my mom, like, will you tickle my back, Mom? He was obviously
That's
younger.
fair.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I've heard that. I just always call them soft touches.
Yeah, that's like
yeah.
very mature of you. I just call it tickling. But like we used to like get in almost like a scissoring position, me and my girlfriends, and then like they would tickle my leg while I tickled their leg.
It's actually hilarious.
Pants off.
Well, yeah, because you can't have your pants on.
This. No, I respect it because I
You
love,
respect. I like how she
do.
said she
I
respects
respect it because
Yeah.
I freaking love that. Were you ever in
Yeah.
like the elementary like reading room or whatever, or you were in elementary school and someone was reading and you're sitting on the mat and they made like a line and they'd scratch each other's backs?
Oh, sure.
Was that like a thing?
No, I did that in my
I
personal
didn't do
life, but not
No,
in
in
like, not
elementary
in
school, we used to make like our teacher would be reading to us. We'd all be sitting like on the mat or whatever, and we'd make a line and you'd scratch the back of the person in front of you. And if like we were young, but it felt so good. I am a
does.
huge like back scratch, soft touch,
It's so
whatever. If someone
nice.
plays with your
Yeah.
hair, I'm like, just lay me to rest right here. I'm gonna pass out of happiness.
Exactly.
Like,
Teenagers do weird things when they're figuring out their bodies a little bit,
yeah,
though.
that's fair. I
I
mean,
used to use my parents' back massager as a vibrator.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, it was really kind of messed up. And
it didn't vibrate.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
A
you mean
back
like
Like I'm
massager?
talking about like they look like a shower head.
Oh.
Like and
I
it
was
plugged
thinking of
in.
a scratcher.
No,
Never
and it
mind, a
plugged in,
scratcher.
and I remember I was young when it started
God
because
damn.
I was like playing around with it. I was probably like I don't know, like it was in my like probably 10 to 13.
Damn.
Somewhere in there. And I remember telling my mom, I was like,
Whoa.
oh yeah, I use it to massage my mini wiener. Is that good?
You told her straight up what you were doing?
Well, because I didn't know that it was like
wrong.
I didn't know it was
Not
like
wrong. It's not wrong.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was like sexually pleasuring me.
Yes.
I just thought like because
But
when
as a parent would probably see that as like, oh my God.
oh yeah, she was like, you need to stop that.
Yeah,
she was like, don't do that.
I mean, it's not wrong to explore your body when you're young.
But I was like showing people how to do it.
oh, okay.
Like
That's the
my
thing.
cousin came over and she was like, she's a year older than me, and I was like, you want to massage your mini wiener? This is how you do it. And
my God.
well, because I didn't know, I just like had taken my parents' back massager, plugged it in, I was like doing my legs and stuff, and then I like put it over, my hoo-ha, and it felt kind of nice, and I was like, oh, wow.
That is actually hilarious to me. I feel like I am like so sexually delayed in my like years where I'm like 10 to 13. Like, oh my God.
Well, it was an accident, but like,
But it
hey.
felt good.
But it's so weird. It did. It felt so good. And like, but it's so weird because I had a terrible experience as like an adolescent when I had my first, when I had sex for the first time, that like, I feel like it's so funny because I think about like my sexual curiosity and like openness with like everything involving sex and like feeling good and things like that. And it's so different. Like, I feel like I'm a lot more reserved from years 2017 to now than I was prior to like that. And it's just so weird. But like, yeah, I massaged my mini wiener with my parents' back massager.
I wonder if that's like as you kind of enter your adolescent years, you start to feel more reserved because it's like other people are doing it and you know more about it and you're almost like embarrassed of like, am I doing this wrong? Is this weird?
You
There's
feel a lot more
judgment.
self-aware.
Self-aware. And I feel like when you're younger, like,
do you know what a wizard sleeve is?
No.
Okay.
Good. I was like, is this just me?
Is that serious? So a wizard sleeve is, if you look it up on Urban Dictionary, it's like to be very matter of fact, it's when a woman's labia like is long, like super long, like the outside ones.
A wizard
and the men call it a wizard sleeve apparently. And so
There's a line from Borat that mentions that. But
Really?
I won't say it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. Is it? I'm tickling my wizard sleeve.
He's like, her vagine hang like sleeve of wizard.
Okay. Okay, so that makes sense.
Something like that.
So like I was friends with like I had a core group of girlfriends, this is our sisters, and then I had like a core group of guy friends, and we all kind of were like dating, kind of like we all had boyfriends, and those were the group of guys that were all friends with us. And I remember that like the guys would kind of talk about wizard sleeves, and that was the first time that I was very aware of like my body and what it looked like. And I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to have one of those. Like, I hope I don't have one of those. And so then you start like inspecting yours, and you're like, does it look weird compared to other people's? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when you get to that point where you become almost too self-aware of like what men think and like also what other people look like. Yeah. That's when it starts being like, oh shoot, like I like a little bit more reserved, I guess.
Well, yeah, but then it's like I don't want to put myself too far out there and then not be accepted almost. Like you want it to, be
like,
more...
I don't want a man to be like, oh, she has a wizard sleeve. Right. Not that I have one, but like, I'm like,
thank you for clarifying.
Paul, thank you for shaking your head about that. That actually gave me a lot of encouragement. It's not a sleeve, but like, you know what I mean? Because like it's like obviously everyone's body parts look different, men and women, and it's like you start at that age, you're like, at this age, you are very aware of the fact that like that is a truthful thing. But like when you're in high school and like even college, it's like you still kind of think of it like, oh shit, something's wrong with it, or like the way it looks. You're like. I don't know.
I think it's so funny now too because you think about like in your adult age, it's like so anyone who would give you shit for like the way that your body is,
you're
is just
12.
an asshole anyway. So it's just like
I'm sorry, you're getting some.
Yeah, like excuse you. Like anyone who should judge you for anything about your body, who like if you're having sex with them, is like you get no more. Like, you suck.
Like, I'm sorry, you think you are a goddess?
Yeah,
You're
right.
God.
Like look at you.
Sorry, like. You think that your penis gives orgasms to 76% of women?
Like, I accepted you.
Who thought that?
Who would possibly think that?
Who would think that they have a magic penis? Can't be Paul.
Would never be Paul.
I had a group of friends. I had a group of friends in, I think it was, I'm sure it was high school, hopefully. I never went to like, I never went to one of these, I never went to one of these gatherings, but they would.
There's gatherings?
Yeah.
What? I can't.
They would watch porn and then they would.
Together?
It's together, which I had done with my friends as well.
What?
Yeah,
You've watched porn with friends?
Do you guys?
I've never watched porn in
Do
my
you
whole
pull
life.
your thingies out?
Really?
In my whole
You haven't?
life.
I just started this year, and it is great.
She just started.
I did. Well, because
That
I
feels
didn't know
Paul
that.
influenced.
I don't even care about this.
I really didn't.
Really?
My like
No.
a huge reason that my ex and I obviously separated was because there was a disconnect with his use of porn and
He had an addiction.
quality time with me.
Yeah.
And that was like a very big reason our relationship ended. And so I just like had a terrible taste in my mouth about
Yeah.
like porn. I just like, even when like Paul had given it up, I think it
Yeah.
was, and you still kind of give it up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like,
I detoxed.
yeah, he detoxed from porn. But like, I just in my head thought it was like so bad. But then I was like, I think for some reason one day I was like, you know what? I just like, I feel like I need to like do, what is it called? Like when it's almost like some sort of therapy where it's like,
Exposure therapy?
yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to
Oh.
watch it. And I watched it and I was like, all right, like, what if I just like try this? Like, what if I just like,
Like, now that I'm here.
yeah, like now that I'm here, what if I just like whip out my vibrator to see what it's like?
Well,
and
my-
now I'm like, this is kind of nice.
Okay.
like,
okay.
like
That's-
low
But
key,
it's okay to have it
Yeah.
in healthy amounts.
yeah,
Like, I
it's
think
not like
your
I'm gonna
ex
pick that
maybe
over Paul.
overindulged. Right. Like, the
Right.
real
Yeah.
thing is going to be better. I think we can
Yeah.
all admit
Oh,
that.
yeah.
However, if you are in need,
If you're in a pinch,
if Paul is gone, if you're in a pinch and you're just like feeling some type of way and Paul's not around, like you got to do what you got to do.
and there's like, and I talked about this on the podcast
as I
with
speak,
Caro.
as I've never watched it, so like
You
I don't know what
should,
I'm talking
but
about.
like,
Crazy.
but I'm gonna get back to Paul's story in a second. But like, as Caro said it in the podcast, like there are certain things, like for me right now, I'm not comfortable exploring with my partner, but like porn kind of allows me to like explore
Yeah.
what I like and what I don't like without like
Yeah.
and like exiting my comfort zone in the sense of
Right.
like having to like maybe teeter on that like border.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying was I had a group of friends that would watch porn and then go masturbate separately in separate parts of the
Why
room
did you feel like
with
you
their
needed
backs
to do
turned.
that together? Like, why did that
What
not
was
feel
that
like
noise?
Paul? Why
It
is
was
that
me
not
asking.
something?
I
I'm
see.
genuinely-
I never went to one of these parties.
I'm
You said
so
you,
happy
yeah, but you
about
said
that
you
for
watched
you.
porn with your friends.
Yeah, we would
But
watch
like,
like.
why?
Here's the
Was
thing.
it like funny? Were you
Here's
like
the
doing it
thing.
ironically?
No, here's the thing. In 2003,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
watching porn on Cinemax.
Wanna know what-
2003.
And you
Cinemax?
barely.
What were we doing
Yeah.
in 2003?
2003, I was born in 95, so I was 8.
8.
I was
Yeah, you and
literally
Erin
8.
are the same age.
Paul
The
was
thing is-
watching porn and I was an 8-year-old, not
Okay.
even like knowing how to
But like
spell
you
porn.
would turn, you could go to a certain channel like late at night, and they would play like softcore porn. So it's not the
What?
internet. Yeah, you didn't know that.
So what?
I
You guys
had
were
this-
just like, let's watch this.
Yeah, we
Did
would.
you get hard
I
with your
can't- I
friends?
honestly can't remember. I can't
have a lot of
remember.
That is
questions.
Not- no masturbating.
I do too. Like, why is that the thing that you would do? Like, were there no good board games out at the time?
No, for
You
boys.
didn't have video games?
Like
We were
video
like-
games.
What
Really?
about,
It
like,
was late.
lightsabers?
Video
and
games
that?
were over. We're trying to see some titties.
Then go like. Did you not have any girlfriends?
No, we're no 13, 14. No.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I forget. I guess
Okay,
it's like,
so, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
when you're
no,
young, you're
you were not
curious.
13, 14 in 2003.
2003,
You were
I
how
was
old?
14. 14. Yeah.
But you're curious at that age. Like, you just
Yeah.
are like, I can't actively see this on a human being. Like, I'm gonna get it where I
Right.
can get it. I get that.
And-
You know,
It
with
is
your friends,
we
you
had
did-
dial-up internet.
Yeah,
a
but-
little
yeah, but
weird.
you didn't wanna do it alone?
I get it.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you're
I would
telling-
do it alone.
you're-
I would do it alone.
Oh, thank you
Yeah,
for
'cause
confirming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. Okay, but here's my thing. I have questions about the people that used to have like get-togethers where you guys used to do that, and then
Circle
like,
jerks.
yeah,
But not really
I mean,
circle
I guess I
jerks.
did that one time.
I feel like
with my friends.
this group of friends may have maybe done that.
Hey, was your
Like,
friend-
maybe not you.
Was Brian in
No.
this
But
group
I
of
would have
No,
friends?
he
questions.
wasn't.
Who was in this
It
group
was
of
like
friends?
kids in my grade.
Is Brian not in your grade?
No.
Oh yeah, I guess Brian is your age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul doesn't have any
he's
friends his
33.
age.
He's 33.
Oh,
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's okay.
But yeah, I heard about them doing this. They would like watch porn, then quietly go to different parts of the
so
room.
they had like a mutual agreement where the parts
Yeah.
of the room they didn't even have closed doors.
Not really.
What would they
no.
do
They're
in
just
socks?
the basement.
odd. Paul,
I don't
Like
know.
socks,
not-
napkins, like
That's odd.
I'm sorry. I mean, I had a
I can't get
masturbation
behind
party
this.
one
I
time.
have what?
What?
What did you say? I didn't hear what she said.
Like I
One time, my brother's game room. So we had a game room in our basement.
I need an age.
I'm gonna say 16.
Okay.
16 years
Okay.
old. I think my friends were probably 17 at the age because I was a year younger. But
Okay.
we all had vibrators and we all went into my brother's game room. He was not
God,
in
I
there.
hope he listens to this.
He was not in there. I'm so sorry, Connor. He needs a girlfriend. And don't use this against him. But like we went to his game room and there was like all there was a giant armchair and that's it in this room because he would sit in his giant
Yeah,
armchair
yeah.
and play his
Yeah.
video games. And we all found a place on the floor and we all used our vibrators. So all you hear there was
That's what I'm saying. How is that any different than what the boys were doing?
and the lights were off and then we walked out of the room.
No.
Honestly, that was what we did. one time.
Is that what you put on the invite? You're like, hey, bring your vibrator? Like,
no, we were just like, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but I feel like I went through a phase when I turned 15, 16, up until I graduated high school, where like we all started getting boyfriends and having our first times and like being fingered for the like doing like we never did like I mean I'd never sent nudes until I was like an adult out of college, but we like everyone was kind of like in that phase where I just feel like we went into this hyper fixation on like masturbating, what our bodies look like hooking up with guys, like we used to have like these things we called throwdown parties where we'd all like go and make out with our boyfriends and like in the same room kind of thing, and like
we had such different experiences.
Really? Yeah. Were you sheltered?
A little, yeah, I think so.
Where'd you grow up?
Spring Lake, Michigan, right outside of Grand Haven.
Super small.
Yeah, quite small.
Yeah,
I'm sure these things happened with people who were much more fun than I was.
I wouldn't call it fun though, because I'm not a fun girl.
I was just I was very reserved, very shy. Yeah. Was I cool in high school? No, I would not say that.
Really?
No.
I want to see a picture after
I know.
this.
Like what? What was your group in high school? Like, you did a sport?
Yeah, I swam. And I played soccer, and I played tennis, and I danced.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you did a lot. Yeah. So like, why weren't you cool?
I was weird. And I was also very shy, so I wasn't great at like reaching out and like I wasn't good at like bonding with people because I couldn't do the small talk thing. Like I was awkward. So I wasn't able to just be like, "Hey, how's it going? Like how was your weekend?" I didn't like jut out conversation like a normal human being. I like froze. I was quite odd. And I think it was just like truly out of awkwardness and for fear of being like maybe like judged or saying a weird thing. And
Did you have like mental health issues as a kid?
No, I think I was just so shy. I mean, I have mental health issues now.
As a result.
I mean, granted, I have anxiety, so I like, probably had anxiety at the time.
You did.
But like, I was just quiet. I was really quiet. And so, and granted, I had, my group of friends, and I swam, and I had friends through that, and I had friends through soccer. So I had like a core little group, but I wasn't like branching out by any means.
You guys just weren't massaging your mini wieners.
I was not. No.
So you don't have to answer this obviously, but like what age did you start like,
or if you have?
I mean,
Paul's like, if it's ever happened.
If you're still ever to that's fine. But like, what age did you start like breaking out of your shell in a way? Like, because I don't necessarily remember the first time meeting you at track day, because I guess I think in my head we've been friends for a long time.
We've been friends forever, Matt.
Yeah. But I also assume everybody's my friend, which is probably not healthy.
Which I love about you. No, it's good.
But like, I would never guess that you, and I said this to Brittany too on our last podcast, is that like, I guess maybe because I also have anxiety, I just don't necessarily like, I don't look at you and be like, oh, you're a shy person. Like by any means. Like I feel like you can talk to anyone. I feel like you're very lovable, very open, very genuine, like authentic, fun to be around. Like when did you start, feeling like more like that person, if you do even feel like that person,
Truthfully, not until recently. I think like in high school I was really shy, and I think I always like was fearful of saying something dumb. I couldn't come up with like, I didn't know how to relate to people, honestly. Like in high school I was just genuinely shy, and then I got to college and I think I found myself a little bit more, but still I continued to kind of be shy, but a little less. So I definitely broke out a little bit more, but I also dealt with figuring out like, I've had anxiety for a long period of my life, but that's when I really figured out that's what that was. So there were some harder times in college that helped me or that made me retract a little bit. But I got into sports marketing. I had to kind of get out of my shell a little bit and be a little bit more social in that respect. And then you also start to meet people who are a little bit more like your vibe, and you jive with them a little bit better in college. So I think that helped. But then honestly, I stopped caring so much about what people think post-divorce. So I think about, when I was married, we had this friend group who we always hung out with them. And I'd always be thinking like, did I say something weird? Or did I say something that would offend someone? Or, do they actually like me? Or is this a genuine relationship? Or is it more forced because we're all wives of these guys? And then I got divorced, and you kind of go into life and you're just like, why does it matter? And I kind of just opened up a little bit more of, it doesn't matter if I say something that offends I never want to offend somebody ever in my whole life. But like, if I say something that someone doesn't like, or if I say something that someone thinks is weird, like again, I will say this for the rest of my life. You can fuck right off. Like, I am who I am. I say what I say. I forever want to, you know, act with kindness and, you know, be a positive person. And I never want to offend someone or, you know, be anyone who isn't an inclusive person or welcoming. But like, I'm kind of weird. I'm a little OCD.
Yeah,
I talk a shit ton. If
you don't want to compromise who you are.
Right. But I am who I am. So at the end of the day, like, I think I kind of canceled out that shyness a little bit because I'm like, I like to talk. I want to make friends. I love being surrounded by people I enjoy. So like, why would I not just kind of like open that up? So I really, truly think I stepped more outside of that bubble a little bit more, you know, post-divorce, and I just opened up and I was like, screw it. And so even being at track day, I get a little bit of social anxiety going to big group events by myself because I'm like, what if everyone's already friends? What if I don't fit in? What if I can't make a friend? Which was absolutely not the case, obviously, sitting
obviously
here.
not. Yeah.
But you go into those scenarios and you're just like, but what happens if it's great? And, you know, what happens if it's an amazing experience and I make a ton of friends and I, you know, have a great day and then I go back the next time. And it's like, I think I've kind of entered that mindset more so of like, but what happens if it's really good?
Which I feel like is crazy thinking about, like, obviously your first track day, like you're obviously having those thoughts, but then like now it almost seems, and I don't know if you feel this way, but like from the outside looking in, when you show up to those kind of events and the events in the running community, like I would say you're more not in the in crowd, but like you obviously go there and you're like, I know I'm going to know most people here.
Well,
like, I'm going to have a relationship with most people here.
And that's what's amazing. And I think the running community, especially your track days, are so inclusive and so welcoming to anyone who wants to experience, you know, a speed workout or try something to challenge themselves a little bit more. Or if we go to, you know, if you do a society day and it's, you know, take this at whatever pace feels comfortable to you, but like join us. I think they're really inclusive moments, but now going, it's so funny because I look back on just a couple months ago, I felt so nervous. And then now I'm like, I won't go to a running event that I know I'll know someone. Like I won't go to one not thinking like, or thinking that I won't know someone and get nervous. I've never had that thought since that day, which is just, I think it goes to show, just kind of step out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's worthwhile because you never know who you're going to meet. And like, I mean, we're now best friends. We've proclaimed it. And I have to get you a best friend bracelet. She told me, I think it was Diamond Regal. You told me that you told Paul that you think you wanted me to be your best friend. And I'm like, same. And so now we're best friends. But like, if I never would have gone to track day, like I wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, it's huge. And I think it just, you know, step outside your comfort zone. It's okay to be shy. It's okay to be more reserved. But if there's something that you want to do, be yourself and go do it and give yourself the patience and the grace and the confidence to like feel a little weird at first. And
people are going to respect like shy people. Like I can tell who is more reserved, and like I totally respect that. I'm not gonna like push you to speak to the group or like, but I'm also not gonna like let you be, you know what I mean? Like people are gonna know that like you can definitely read people as adults. Like most people who are self-aware can read other people. Like if you are shy and you walk into a group of humans at an event and you are shy, like someone is going to notice that and respect that, but also make an effort to like make sure that you feel welcome and known and like you'll know someone because you'll know that one person who sees that and reaches out to you.
Yes. And I think in these environments, it's so important to remember there's always going to be someone who like has been there and has felt shy and who has felt like I'm nervous to go to this, but they will see that. It's honestly, it's semi easy to pick up on. Like you said, like you can tell when someone's being a little bit more reserved, but like, I have been there. So if I see someone who's maybe not talking to someone, I will always reach out and just, you know, try and ask those little questions and make that small talk and make them feel like they're not by themselves. And I think that's really important, but I think that's the Grand Rapids running community as a whole.
Which is funny. Because you were like, I was that person who was reserved. And it's funny that you start as that person and then you come and then you're going to obviously notice someone who looks like they are feeling the same way you felt your first time, and then they're going to eventually become another person who does it for someone else, and it's a big train of events.
It is, and I think the running community in Grand Rapids is such a joyous place, and it's so inclusive, and it's so much fun, and it's a place that I want other people to enjoy. So if I see anyone, and you two are the exact same way, like if you see someone who's not talking to anyone or who looks new or looks like maybe they don't have like a group yet or someone to run with, we always will reach out. And like,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
so to anyone who like wants to go to these things, even if it's not running, if it's, climbing or whatever other sports that people do.
Or not a sport. If you want to do some pottery, like I'm down to clown.
Dungeons and Dragons, my boyfriend will
I won't
hit you
know how to do
up
that.
and play Dungeons and Dragons
know how
with
to do
you.
that. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
he'll start a Grand Rapids club. But like,
There are clubs.
there are
I've been
so
invited.
many like people who have been in your shoes. And then, I look back at, I think this year this fall was so pivotal for like me and, how I am as a person is I do feel like I'm not necessarily a shy person anymore, but I've made a lot more adult friends and met a lot of people who are core people in my life. Like I think it's spent time with you guys more than anyone else in my life besides Erin. Like I spend so much time with you guys, and I just met you a couple months ago, but like it goes to show there's so much benefit in just putting yourself out there.
It's funny you say that though, because lately you've been MIA, and
also
you know
true.
what? I told Mac, I was like, "Where's Erin been?"
Okay, can we come back to this?
Yeah.
This is important to talk about because I want to talk about this actually, but I have to pee and I might pee in this.
Oh yeah. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Me and Mac will keep going.
Yeah. Well,
She's been missing, and now she's leaving again,
she's going to the bathroom.
and she won't tell me. She wouldn't tell us why.
She has work.
No, I'm
Well,
kidding.
well, here's the thing, Paul. Is like this is what you do all the time.
What?
Is you send me to do your. You are the introvert of this relationship.
I guess.
You don't think you're introverted?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Somewhat. But like, I'll talk to people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
I think it's a
like-
mix for sure.
I think that like. Yeah, true. Okay, I can see that. I guess
what I mean?
you're like extroverted, but you are. It's weird because you're like reserved.
Sure.
Like
sure,
I'm
sure,
an extroverted extrovert.
Okay.
Like I get high off of like public speaking, like talking to people.
Sure.
Love it. But you send me to do your dirty work. You're like, where's Erin? I haven't seen Erin in a while.
Yeah, but do I even have her phone number? I don't know. If I
You
do.
have so many people's phone numbers, you don't save them.
That's true. I don't.
And what
I
is
don't.
that about?
I forget once like that their number comes through, or if it's in a group and it goes a few texts down, I just forget to do it. I really do.
Actually,
It's toxic.
I do have a weird system where like they have to text me multiple times.
Yeah.
Like more than just like, hey, my name's so and so, and like one other text. Like you have to like talk to me a few times over text for me to like save your number. I'm exchanging with Erin now because I also have to pee. It's because I'm drinking
okay.
real wine.
Are you?
felt
I thought it was
sad.
non-alcoholic. Oh,
Let's go with that.
Okay.
It's very alcoholic, and I almost peed my pants.
Well, we were saying because like sometimes you'll get someone's number, or like if I'm in a group text with you and her and somebody else, and I know it's you, but I don't save your number.
Oh,
and
I
then-
don't save people's numbers. I'm really bad at that.
Right.
Actually, Erin and I, when we first started dating, so I did this thing when we first started dating
Mm-hmm.
of like, I didn't want to attach too quickly into a relationship, so I never saved his number in my phone. And I do that with a lot of people. I just like don't save their numbers. And that's not of like, I don't want to attach to you.
Right,
His
right,
is a
right.
different story. But I just don't think about it. And I also don't know who this human is.
But the camera died, the recorder died. We're back.
We're back,
back,
barely.
baby.
You were
But
talking about not saving people's numbers in your phone.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what we started before you went to the bathroom was why you've been
I
MIA
always
because
come.
Paul's like upset.
was
I
really
know.
mad.
Well, because didn't you tell Mac that you needed to like check on me because I was like,
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
did.
was
You're like,
like-
check on Erin.
Well, there was a point where I was like, "Hey, where's Erin?"
Yeah.
Because you missed like a couple of runs.
yeah, and I don't do that.
I
Yeah.
knew
I
where
don't
you
think
were,
I
though.
do.
I was just like mentally.
Mac
I was
always
like,
knows. Well, you have my location, so you actually do
I do.
always know.
I love to look at all my Sims on the internet.
It's so great. I travel for work a lot though, so
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
always gone. And actually, this is something I wanted to talk about because I was talking to Erin about this. Is that like I am a very, I like to have my alone time for
Sure,
sure.
sure.
Like, and Erin knows obviously that I travel for work a lot, so that's like that's a part of our relationship, and I love my job wholeheartedly. So obviously that's nothing that would come between us because he knows it's something I deeply care about. But then when it comes to my friend relationships, it actually makes it kind of hard. What are you doing?
God damn it.
You're having
She was having a deep thought, and you're singing
Yeah.
Nickelodeon song.
No.
It's
Continue.
okay. Well, this actually goes to you because I think about this with you a lot. Is that I travel a lot. So then when I get back, I'm kind of tired and kind of
Yeah.
need a moment because when I'm traveling, I'm with my coworkers and I'm socializing and we're doing customer dinners and all of these
Right.
things. And so my social battery depletes, but then I get back and I really want to like, if I get back on a Saturday and we're doing a Sunday long run, like I want to see my friends, but
Yeah.
I'm really tired and I need a minute. But like Mac's love language is quality time.
Yeah.
And so like, I want to make sure that as a friend, I am, you know,
I love quality
being
time.
there for you and making sure that I'm continuing to like, you know, be a part of this relationship outside of like, obviously I think of Erin too, if I want to make sure that there's quality time there.
I do have to talk myself down from a ledge sometimes.
Yeah.
With you, I'm like, she said she couldn't hang out
still loves
today.
me.
And then she said she couldn't hang out. Then I say, I should just stop asking her for like a little bit.
No,
And
you
let her
should
have her space.
always ask me. Because even last night, like this entire week we were busy, remember? Like you asked me
Yeah, I've
to
asked
the
you to
podcast.
work so many times too. I was like, do you want to work from home today? You want to work from home today? Anyone
I'm
want to
the
work from
worst.
home?
But we had something going on every single day.
Yeah,
And then last night we
which
were
is fair.
driving home and I was like hanging on by a thread. I was so tired. Erin and I got home from Ann Arbor so late. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do that podcast tomorrow. But then I also was like so excited to see you guys. But I also am like, my social battery might be kind of dead. Yet here we are. We've
That's
been
why I
talking
tried
for
to give you
so long.
some. I was like, Paul was like, you should text her. I was like, I'm not going to bother at the game. I'm just going to give her some space. And then on Sunday, I'll text her and say, you still okay for today? Casually.
No, and it's perfect. I'm glad that we're here.
I just want a hole in my pants.
Yeah.
My sweatpants.
Are those
Okay.
new?
Those look like at-home sweatpants, though, so I think it's okay.
These are like hand me
Dude,
downs.
they're bad.
Like, I feel like
What do you mean they're bad,
they're
Paul?
okay to have a hole. It's breathable.
Yeah.
Paul says that as all of his boxers have a hole.
Socks.
I was just listening
Underwear,
to
too.
Vile Files, and they were talking about
I
like
always
She
listen to
listens
I know
to that.
I listened to it because I do love you so much. I want to do all the things that you do, and see, it's
God,
okay.
That's so sweet.
But I started listening to Vile Files because you talked about it, and they were talking about underwear and how you have like your everyday underwear, your sex underwear, your like workout underwear, and all that thing. It sounds like you may need to dabble into that a little bit more.
Mine's just all.
Okay.
all-
It's just underwear.
I am
Yeah.
so superstitious that like I believe fully 100% in my heart that the day that I shave my legs, I will not get laid.
Why? I shave my legs every single day.
Every
Fun
time.
Every day.
What?
Every day. I'm a
Ew.
very well groomed human.
Every time I shave my legs and my vagina,
Fun
like
fact.
I am bald as a like little balded eagle.
Naked mole rat.
I'm a naked mole rat down there. I'm like I moisturize. I do everything. I'm like I will not get laid tonight. And lo and behold, I've never gotten laid the day that I shaved.
Never
really-
in your life.
You could be me
With
and
you,
just
Paul.
do it every single
Oh.
day.
I could, but that is not on my to-do
No.
list.
It's okay.
I'm a
I
lazy
don't know when
mofo.
that started, but it did start, and it's just kind of held true. And
Wild.
I know, fun fact.
So your legs, you do every day.
Can I
Yeah.
touch them?
Whole
Let
ham.
me
I
touch
wonder,
them.
actually.
Let me touch them.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Whoa! Wait, is that a sock? Oh yeah.
She's
That's a
touching.
sock.
She's,
Whoa.
she's
They're
stroking
soft.
Aaron's calf.
Wow.
yeah, they're soft.
They are
Baby's
soft.
butt.
Wait, feel mine.
Feel her cactuses.
Those are prickly. Yeah, that's.
And you want to know what? I'll
Does
probably get laid tonight, but I probably won't if I shaved them.
That's you
That's
know
my
what? That's
thing.
fair.
By who?
Honestly,
You,
should start.
Paul.
You should start checking when she's shaving her legs and really change this for her.
Yeah.
I should.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I like wear cute PJs. Like I'll wear like sexy stuff to bed, and then I won't get laid. I'm like, what a
What is that
fucking
like?
waste.
I
know
wear
about
It's
full-on
underneath. What do you mean? I don't know about that.
sweatpants into sweatshirt to bed.
Yeah.
I look like a homeless human every time I go to bed. I wore socks the other night to bed, and Erin, like, actually, he felt them, and he was like, "Are you wearing socks in bed?" And I was like, "Yes, I was chilly,
It's
so I'm
cold,
wearing
man.
socks." And he was like, "I'm taking them off." He was so. He was offended by the socks. He was like, "You cannot wear socks to bed. That's really weird. I need to take these off." And he took my socks off, and then we just went to bed.
Oh.
But it was just like, I have never not been like so overly clothed going to bed.
Really?
I don't know what it's like to wear like sexy pajamas to bed.
Oh.
It's not.
I like
my
to
vibe.
be like less clothes are better.
No.
I will say sometimes
Not in
when
the
I
winter for me.
when I don't want to get laid, I fart.
Oh, I feel like I could do that and still be just fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I just feel like if I'm really like,
You're
if I'm
really shut down
if
the
I'm
mood.
like, I really just don't think I can pull my life together tonight and have a good time. I will be in a goofy goober
now you know.
mood.
No,
Now
she'll
you know.
she'll Chardonnay all over the place. And under the covers, it's a nightmare.
Like hot boxes you a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Dutch oven.
never hotbox. I always air it out into your mouth.
Make sure he's breathing extra deep.
I will say though, Paul's farts and burps are the smelliest.
Okay.
And he goes, whoops. And it's like,
Okay,
"Bro."
I'm gonna throw in my random hot takes. I think burps are more disgusting.
Yes.
than farts.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, burps
I
are so
yell at
gross.
Paul all the time. Like, you cannot burp. People hate that. And I'm like, everyone raise your hand in the room if you hate to
okay.
burp. And Paul is
Let me
one.
clarify. I burp like religiously.
Same.
Really?
I open my mouth wide and I let it rip.
I've
and
never
it's-
heard you burp. ever.
Well,
I have.
I feel like you
You
probably
have
have. I feel
not.
like I probably have burped around you. I
I've
burp a
never heard
lot.
I probably
Everything
so
makes
used
me
to it by
burp. I can
Paul.
drink water, pop, whatever. It makes me burp. And I don't just like cute little like burp. Oops, haha.
Oh, I
but like
just don't
I like
burp.
open my mouth and I burp really loud.
Ew.
Yeah, no, it's not
I'm
great.
so sorry.
But
ugh.
like if your burp smells bad,
Paul. Literally, Paul's throw up.
I literally cannot view you the same. When Aaron burps, I look
Yes.
at him. I'm like, you should have farted.
Yes. It's like,
I
I'd
let it
rather-
out the other end.
You expect something disgusting coming out of a butthole, but like out of a
Your
mouth,
mouth?
it's like, ew.
Yes.
Like you need to disinfect
Yeah.
with Lysol.
I knew you were
You
you're my
nasty.
soul human. I think everything I say you understand.
I do. I get that.
Okay, we have to wind this down because you guys really. Yeah, that's why we have to wind it down.
No, we
'Cause
don't.
you guys-
I have no plans
Well,
now
one
that
of
I
the
forgot
last-
to pick up the pizza.
That's true.
for-
No
I need to
plans.
make a. Can I
Party,
make a public
party.
apology?
For what?
Aaron's
Well,
pizza.
yeah, Erin had her boyfriend order a pizza
An hour ago.
an hour
hour
ago, and she
ago.
forgot to pick it up, and they're closed.
And they closed.
Because I'm having such a good time talking to my
That's
friend.
true.
But we're gonna go back to Aaron Praise, and he's a sweet boy, and I called
a
him.
sweet,
He's
sweet
a
boy.
Sweet boy. And
That's
I
kinda like
called
a
him.
grandmother
He said,
compliment.
"It's okay, I'll figure something out." And I was like,
that's
"Okay, I
nice.
love
Aw.
you."
See, I thought he was
Goodbye.
gonna come here and join the party.
One of the
He
last
would,
thing-
but given the time,
yeah.
What time
By
is it?
quote.
It's
It's late
9.
now.
yeah, no, it's not late. We're gonna
Oh.
do this all night.
See, Paul right now is when he'd be like, "Daddy's gotta go to bed.
Daddy's gotta do
Daddy says 9 burger heads."
I'm gonna start commenting on Straub and be like, "Good job, Daddy."
Oh no! Don't do that.
I hate it. Well, no,
I
Don't
don't
do
like
that.
it.
Actually, I kinda
but
like it.
Paul, if
She
you're
kinda
gonna
likes
do it, you gotta own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but don't do it in front of my dad. Like, that's just
no.
like that's like a big fuck you, to
That's
my
a
dad.
huge no.
I don't remember doing.
Because my dad
I
like
just
calls
like-
me princess and stuff, and then you were
Yeah.
like daddy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, do
Yeah, I
not
did
refer
not
to yourself
say it
as
like that.
daddy
you
in
should
front of
absolutely
Donald.
not do that. I don't love knowing about it about you, but at the same time I do, because now this is like how I may refer to you in
Okay.
a really weird way.
That's
And I
fine.
think that
He'll be
most
like,
people
"Daddy
will react
needs
poorly
food.
to it, but like
Daddy needs
Listen,
I
a
she
shower.
calls me old all the time. I feel like a dad at this point.
you do.
Yeah.
She
Sometimes
does
he
call you
acts-
old. You don't. If this makes you feel better,
Thank you.
I never would have guessed that you're 34.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I
very
get that a lot.
like yeah.
You think he's spry? Were you about to say he's spry?
So
Because he's
spry, so
not.
spry.
You don't live with him all the time, and he always
don't.
says like, "Oh, he'll get." This is his biggest
She
thing.
exaggerates.
No, this biggest thing is he gets into bed every night. He goes, "Ah, burger head. I have never been this tired in my whole life." And I'm like, "You said that yesterday." No. Or like, "Oh, I've never felt this pain before." It's like, dude, we are not experiencing
runners
everything
go
for the
through,
first
okay?
Yeah.
time.
Okay. But
It's not
I
true.
gotta, you gotta kind of give a little bit to Paul here, because your job hours are so
Yeah.
wonky.
Yeah.
When you work at 6 a.m. and if I had to do that on a regular basis, I think I would be passed out on the floor right now.
Well, and
Usually
So-
by 10, I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
She
I
gets
went to bed at
mad.
8:30 the other night.
Really?
Aaron had to convince me not to go to bed at 7:30 the night before that. So you know what?
I would
I
kick your
am
ass.
elderly.
Because I tell Paul, I'm like, this sucks. But
Yeah.
I work a 10 to 6 job. So like when he
Yeah.
wants to go to bed at like 9 or 10, I'm like, cool, I had 4 hours with you today.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that
okay. That's
sucks.
different, because you are a very big quality time person. So like, actually, I would love. I'm gonna ask questions now. This is about me. How do you guys manage that though? Because you're
We
such a
don't.
quality time person, and your job is kind of weird hours.
It's temporary. I'm getting.
It's temporary,
Yeah.
but
I
but for
will-
now, it's
Yeah.
a little bit off. And then
Yeah.
especially, I mean, you guys have, you know, the run clubs that we all do together, but that's together and not like individualistic quality time.
And that's what I tell him all the time. I think lately it's been really hard. I will say, like, we have had not like arguments, but me coming to him being like, I feel like I'm disconnected from you. Like, I
Yeah.
do feel a disconnect.
It's a terrible feeling too.
Yeah, but he does do a really good job of like, if I'm like, I feel really disconnected from you. I said this a few weeks ago, like, like we don't get quality time. Like, we do have a routine where it's like we either have a run club after work or you make dinner, I sit on the couch, you come join me on the couch, we eat dinner, and then bed.
Yeah.
And he did a really good job, like, planning, like, hey, let's get out of the house, let's go to like the Christmas market, let's go do a dinner.
Yeah.
Like, he does a really good job listening to what I am telling him and trying to, like, now we try to go to bed a little bit earlier, like get into bed, and then he'll be like, okay, let's ask each other like connecting questions or like things like that, just
Yeah.
so that we do have more quality time, which
That's
I
good.
appreciate a lot, because that is the stuff, like, I am not good with surface level. I'm not good with like
Yeah.
just being in the presence of the person that I want to be with. I need like quality connecting time where like I'm learning about you. Like, we're learning about each other. I feel like you know things about me. Like, we're connecting, we're talking, we're having like meaningful conversations. And so
I just want to let you know I burped.
I
and I
didn't
was
hear
really
it.
respectful
I didn't
about
smell
it.
it. I didn't smell it.
Really respectful
really,
about it.
maybe that's why you're Paul like burps. She's like,
no, usually I do, but I just wanted you to know I was really respectful.
I'm with two
about it.
burpers and I hate it.
One of the last things I wanted to cover with you guys, because you're both new homeowners. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
And you mentioned you're, poor, because that's what happens when you buy a house.
$3.
Yeah, $3 in your bank account. But that
But here I am
now
being a
has
sugar
that-
mama to Paul.
Now has that turned you
I love this
into?
energy though. I love that.
Has that turned both of you into like kleptos now? Because we were
God.
talking about before this. We were talking about stealing.
I was
at
already a
Target.
Keplo.
Yeah.
Keplo.
Klepto?
Max had too much wine at this
Which
point.
is honestly not even enough.
No.
I like brought wine over here. I was like, we need to get a little,
It's kind of entertaining.
junky.
And now
Yeah.
I
It
feel like
is.
I wish our butler brought us more.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Like, I don't want to end this. I feel like I could do this for another 3 hours.
Let's do it off the recorder because we need to save content for the next
That's
time.
fine.
I'm
You
not.
know?
Sure
Yes,
of
I
content,
steal
don't think.
things,
I could talk
okay?
forever.
I steal things.
Okay, same. Actually, this is.
She's like admitting it. My name is Mac.
Right.
My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm a
Hi, my name is Mac, and I steal this.
and I'm a
My name
thief.
is Mackenzie, and I have stolen things.
She
from
does have this weird
Target,
thing.
Meijer,
I think she could be
and-
like Amazon billionaire style and still go
Amazon.
to the grocery store and be like, we don't need to pay for that.
Prices are outrageous. And to be
Prices
honest,
are outrageous, and I
They
will
are.
not pay
They
them.
are.
I will not.
and to be honest, like, they make so much money, and like, it's kind of a thrilling thing.
They make so much money, and we don't.
Yeah, and like,
So
I
they
might
don't deserve to have ours.
I might be an engineer, but I still think things like when I walk into a store, I'm like, that should be 2 for 1.
Jesus Christ. Like pillows.
Yes. Okay. No, but actually, you said it last week, so I will admit
If you can't do your job and put a price tag on
Let
something,
her,
it's
let
mine.
her confess to her sins.
I'm gonna confess to myself. Where do we start?
Yeah.
Like honestly, but when I was younger, when I was in high school, I did get that kind of adrenaline rush, and I was a little bit of a klepto, and I like kind of took things that were not mine. So I will admit that I'm not proud of it, but I'm also not proud of it.
Yeah, it is your past.
So now, as an adult human being, I sometimes accidentally klepto. And so,
Accidentally.
for example, part of me is so terrified that like Target is gonna listen to this and
we
like
had talked about this.
Yeah.
They apparently build a case for you.
like
because,
how many how do they know though, and like where's the proof? Because like
Come to my house.
like I feel like y'all are skeptics. Now I'm admitting it, but like you're just
Proof
sitting there,
is in the
you're
pudding.
sitting in the like little security room, and you're just like, bitch, like she just stole a pillow.
Where-
that was $50.
Where's
like,
the proof? They pull up 2-pack taper podcast.
But like,
Oh my
I can say something, but like, whatever. Just don't come at me, Target. So we had the exact same experience where I had a cart full of a lot of pillows, and I'm scanning all of these pillows, and one of them did not have a tag, and I was like, I have done so much
You're
work.
coming in with me.
You're coming with me. And I had so many pillows in my car. I was a little overwhelmed. This one did not have a tag, and I was like, I've paid for so many. My car is at like $200.
And you don't want to wait for customer service to like come
Right.
tell you how much a pillow is.
Like, honestly, you're welcome for spending $200. Like, I'm going to take this
Yes.
pillow with me.
and like low key, you could have gone to Home Goods and gotten the same pillow for like $10.
And that's Target's fault.
Yeah.
Like, not mine.
like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna charge me $40 for one plain ass pillow, it's a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
also,
2-for-1,
like, at
yeah.
that point, I bought so many pillows that day. It was legitimately, I think I bought 6. So, you know what? It was
I
6
can
for 1,
attest
so
to
get
this.
over it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for
because it
one,
was the day
Get
that
over it.
it was the day that you came over with Tess.
yeah, there were a lot of nice pillows on your couch,
One
and I
was
love
for
them.
free, and it did not have a tag. And I was like, respectfully, Target, I paid for all the other ones. This one doesn't have a tag. That's not my fault. That's your fault. This one's coming with me. The kicker was the candle.
It was like a 6-wick candle.
It's
This is like a drug addict.
like a very expensive candle. It was like 6 wicks.
It was.
And
6
I
wicks.
was
That's
feeling
like expensive.
Yeah, I was
One
feeling
wick is
frisky, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy this candle for my dining room table.
So what would you say the biggest thing you've ever stolen was?
Biggest.
Like, the most expensive.
Like an Xbox or something. But wait, I
no,
want to hear more
no.
about this candle. How did you get it from the store.
Put it in a cart.
It was in my car. No, and I did truly need to pay for it. I did.
I
It
meant to
was.
pay for
I
it.
had. Okay.
I say that to myself
Paul,
too.
have you ever had a cart with 6 pillows in it?
No.
Because it's a busy ass cart.
I would never buy it.
It was a very busy cart, and the candle happened to be at the bottom of the cart. So I'm scanning all these pillows, and I walk out to my car, and I put all the pillows in the car, and then I look down, and I'm like, oh, fuck, the candle. The candle was buried in the pillows, and I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, I'm in the parking lot.
You're not going
like,
back.
I'm not going back. So I did take the candle. I'm so sorry,
Bloody
Target, but also you make way more than I do, and you will
Target.
never even notice.
And like low key, like candles are overpriced.
And
Yeah.
so overpriced. And honestly, I spend so much money at Target. Like, if there was a point system, which I know there is, like, I've earned that candle. Like, I've earned it.
She's like, you have a point system. I don't use it, but I deserve it.
But I've earned the candle.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm not even mad about it. It looks great on my dining room table. So thank you, Hearth and Hand. I
Jeez.
appreciate it.
Well, on that note, our glasses are empty.
Yeah.
And
We'll call it here.
We should save some for next podcast. But
How long has it been?
Like almost 2 hours.
500 hours.
Yeah.
But thank you all for listening, and we hope
Check
that we've
us out on our socials.
we hope
Two-pack
that
taper.
we've inspired you to not only listen to this podcast, check us out on our socials, but also
If you're in the Grand Rapids
Steal from
area, local, come Thursdays and run with us.
Yeah.
you
And
should.
HGR.
Society Track Club, bruh.
If I'm in town, I'm there.
Society Track
She's
Club
never in
on
town,
Instagram.
but she's still there. But
All
all
right.
right,
We gotta
peace
get
out,
them to
friends.
bed. Bye.
Wazowski.